What is she doing in my seat?
Hey.
Oh, hey, yeah. We decided to replace you with Brittany because, you know, you're always late. Lisa decides to come on time.
Yeah, she even brought a shield and everything. What do you bring?
I don't get this, Renee. You guys always end up doing this. You guys, look, I show up like 5, 10, 45 minutes late sometimes, but at least I bring the equipment, all right? I got the ideas. I set everything up, and I...
Huh.
Yeah! Come on! Put him in a body bag, Brittany! Yeah!
Had enough?
I can do this all day.
Ah! Come on, Brittany! Finish him! If you're not gonna finish it, then I am.
Recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California at Undercity Comics. Keep It Up with Nerds presents issue 123. I'm Renee.
I'm Nick.
This is Brian.
And welcome to the show, everyone.
Woo! Yeah! You got it right. You were so confused for a second.
For a second? But did I look confused? I was
You're
pretty
just like,
confident.
120 something? 23?
123. I was trying to think of it.
That's like not knowing the address of where you live.
You know what's funny? Like, we would always get the address wrong or say it wrong,
Oh
too.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Guys, go
So
check
many
us out
things.
at keepingupwiththenerds.com for all the up-to-date information. Follow us on our socials at Keeping Up With The Nerds. And also follow us on YouTube if you're listening to this on an audio platform. If you're on YouTube, go like, subscribe, check us out. Comment down below. Let us know what you guys think about the episode once you guys have finished it. And if not, we do have, you know, the podcast as audio on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Podbean. With those announcements out of the way, Renee, we have a guest.
We do, yes. We have a guest, my friend, Captain Brittany.
Yeah! Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Our month of guests, our
yeah.
second guest
Second
of the
guest.
month of guests. Thank
She
you for
is
being
an
on here.
amazing cosplayer. You know,
Thank you.
Does a lot of cosplays as Captain America. You did Spider-Man. You've done Captain Carter, which everyone loves. Yeah.
Yeah, I have done Captain Carter.
Yeah.
Go ahead and plug in your socials so
Yeah.
people can find you real quick.
It's really just Instagram. It's Captain_Brit. That's where you guys can find me. If you want to follow, go for it. Likes. It's all up to you.
Perfect. Well, thank you for being on the show. If you're not familiar with our format, pretty much, because obviously we want to know more about you, what you
Right.
do, and all the cosplay and all the work that you do. Because you also attended, you also attend special events, right? For
Yes.
you know these superhero movies as well, right? You went to go see Black Panther way before anyone else did.
Yeah, it
Right?
was 2 weeks ago to the day almost.
How was it having everybody freaking out, kind of going like, man, I can't wait to see what happens in Black Panther, and going, I already know. Like, was it nice? Was it real nice? Just kind of like. Have that...
I think it was worse for the first premiere I went to, which was Eternals.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people like have discourse with that. It is what it is, but like that was hard to keep in because it was like my first premiere I ever went to, and I had like all this information that I couldn't talk to anybody about, like except the people I was with.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was cool. I mean, it is always like nice, but it also does kind of blow because I'm just like, I have other friends that are really into the MCU and I can't talk to them.
So do
that
you
are
have
like
like
outside of cosplay.
Marvel snipers on you until like the embargo lifts?
Listen, you know what? They're everywhere.
Oh,
They are everywhere.
they've cleared the area. That's why we have you on here right now,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
They're not. We're good.
Movie's
Okay.
out. Movie's out. We're fine.
So we definitely want to know more about the premieres, what it's like, you know, with the cosplaying world and everything, what you do and what your favorite costumes are, so on and so forth. But we do have a segment before we start the show, the main portions of it, called Comic Strips here, where we kind of talk about little bits and pieces of news that have come out throughout the week. Just have a quick, like, 5-10 minute discussion, and we're only really going to have 2 topics today.
Yeah.
So do you want to join us for that?
Sure.
Real quick? Yeah, perfect.
Sounds rad.
It's not like you have a choice, right?
Sure, already started, you know?
Either you're sitting there in silence, and
I'll
that's
just
gonna be
sit
weird.
there.
Yeah,
That
just
little,
I don't know what we're talking about.
That little SpongeBob meme where like his legs are crossed and he just.
Feel free to join in at any point if you have like anything to interject with. Go on, it's fine. You know, we're all friends here. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. So the first piece of news that has come out, Netflix. It's kind of weird how they came out with this news because Netflix kind of teased a little bit that they were making a Gears of War series movie.
Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden, like the next day, Dave Bautista comes out and says, like, yeah, I'm gonna play Marcus Phoenix.
Yeah, America's Phoenix.
I love how Batista tries to get a job every time because he knows Guardians is going to be done. He's like, I'm going to put my name in there. You know?
Well,
He's like,
can you blame him? The guy was broke.
Yeah.
Like before he got
Oh,
picked
that's
up for
right,
Drax. Yeah. The guy did not know how to spend his money. He was broke, basically living like from family member to family member, paying
Wow.
bills. Yeah.
yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
He did not. He didn't spend his money when he was in the WWE very well.
No.
Yeah, I think he got injured. That was the reason.
got injured a
that was
lot,
yeah. He got
yeah.
injured a lot, and I think that was the reason why he had to retire from from wrestling.
Yeah. So James Gunn saved his life by giving him the Drax role.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So I will say this. I didn't think that he. So you told me yesterday.
Yes, I told you at the movie.
Yeah, you told me at the movie, and I said, "Oh, he's playing Dom," and he's like, "No, he's playing Marcus Phoenix," and I'm like. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was gonna. I don't think he has the aesthetics for Marcus Phoenix.
You didn't think he was going to aim that high. Like, yeah.
No, not to be mean. The guy could play a great like lead character.
Yeah.
I just don't think he has the looks for it until I see a bandana over his head.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Let's be fair. There's not a lot to Marcus. It's just a graveled voice. Just get a bunch of rocks thrown in his mouth.
He's got to look
and just
swole. He has to look swole and
Well,
just look mean.
already
Yeah.
get like 90%
He's got that
there.
done already.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Put
That's
a big
true.
old scar on his face and you call it a day. And that's it.
You ever play Gears of War, or you know about it at all?
I had a lot of friends that played Gears of War like in high school and like early college. I've never played it personally.
It's a pretty good story.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, the first 3. Just the first 3.
Just the first 3 guys.
That's the first 3. That's
After
it.
you, it's
Nothing
like
else
it's like any
exists.
other game. Once you get past the first trilogy, you're like, it's okay.
That's all right. You know, it's fine.
There are definitely games that exist.
Yeah.
They're out there.
There's other games.
Yeah, there are games that exist. Like,
I will say that I do like Dave Bautista acting wise. I think he's a great actor. I don't understand the hate he got when he was Drax the first time around.
I never saw it either. I mean, but he is a good actor, but I don't see why people don't like him. I never. He's
He
very
doesn't
likable.
seem problematic at
No.
all.
No.
So
No.
For
Yeah.
people to dislike him, it's got to be for some petty reason.
Right.
What's
Either
interesting?
just too handsome.
Right?
How dare he?
He's too buff.
He's just too beautiful. I'm
But
sorry.
I feel like a lot of wrestlers that go into acting end up having that kind of like humility when it comes to fans, like to the fans, because they know that the fans are the reasons why they're there.
Same thing with John Cena.
Yeah, exactly.
John
John
Cena
Cena,
is the same
Dwayne the Rock
exact way.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Well,
we're-
but Dave is getting. There's like 3 movies coming out with him in it. There's Glass Onion.
Mm-hmm.
There's also that M. Night Shyamalan movie that he's doing,
Ooh.
The Cabin House. The
Oh,
Knock in the Cabin House.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that
I saw
looks-
the trailer to that. That one
looks
looks
good.
scary.
Yeah,
It was good, though.
and there's another one. I think he's doing another movie. I don't.
He's in
remember.
the holiday special of Guardians.
Oh
too.
yes,
Yeah,
that's
the
right.
holiday
That looks
special-
great.
Holiday
That
special
looks
for
hilarious.
Guardians. Yeah.
Kevin Bacon.
We were talking about this like 2 issues ago. We were just like, well, now that it's Kevin Bacon in there, like, what kind of like references do we want to see?
Yeah,
And I said there needs to be a Tremors reference in there.
Tremors or Footloose.
Oh,
Yeah.
Footloose
Tremors,
definitely.
There has to be a Footloose.
Also, I want them to just ask him, how long he was in the Avengers.
Yeah.
Earth's mightiest hero.
Whether he let it, just no, but I do think that Batista's going to be. I think he'd be pretty dope. And also, because you need somebody to shepherd this.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to have to be like Black Adam, where you're just going to need like a very strong opinion of just somebody shepherding it and taking it to the finish line. Because this is, they've tried to make a movie out of this. They've tried to make a series. They've tried to make another movie, then another movie.
Yeah.
This is a property that just cannot get a break.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
it really needs somebody just to have it, just carry it all the way down down, and I think Batista's a good person to do that.
Yeah, he's a very likable person.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It's Netflix. It's Netflix money. They just need a good. They need good showrunners to make this happen. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Second piece of news: John Wick Chapter 4 got a trailer, which
We basically know the story, I guess. It's like he's been challenged to a fight that he needs to make to get there with Bill Skarsgård, I guess.
So
and it's like basically everyone's trying to stop him to get to that fight.
So he has to get to the high table.
Yeah.
And he's making a deal with the high table for his freedom, so that way they can take all of the hits off of him, and they can stop the excommunicate. So that should be interesting.
I have not seen John Wick 2 or 3 yet. So
Why?
Why are you so behind on movies?
I don't because
You
I'm
gotta watch
overloaded.
Creed 2 now. Because we're gonna see Creed 3.
Oh yeah,
So
you really?
yeah.
Okay, but you got to understand that if we
Yeah.
go see Creed 3, I'm probably gonna go work out
You
right
see-
after
you
because I'm gonna
see-
be like, I'm gonna
you
have
see
so
how
much
Jonathan
adrenaline.
Mayers looks in that. I want to see that. Like I want to see that on screen.
Dude, I wanted to clutch my pearls last night. Man. I saw Jonathan Majors and which one?
Michael
And
B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my.
Two beautiful men.
I was like, oh man, you're all lathered up, huh?
Listen, he's not wrong.
No, he's not.
No, it's not. Yeah.
What's interesting about that Creed 3 trailer is that when Jonathan Majors' character is introduced at first, he seems kind of like not super buff, and then literally
He's
the
all
next scene is
covered
like
up, yeah.
shirts off, and it's just like abs on abs, and you're like,
Ripped.
yeah, exactly. You're like, whoa, where'd this come from? All right,
Yeah.
it's cool. Good to
All
see
the
that it's
laundry's
getting work.
clean.
Yeah. I thought it was so funny because last night before we went to go see when we were watching the trailers, 2 movies for Jonathan Majors came up.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was Quantumania and also Creed 3, and I was just like, man, this guy just keeps getting work.
Yeah.
He's doing an amazing job. He's getting a bunch of work.
As he should.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So the John Wick trailer came out the same day that Black Panther did its premiere, and it was also featured as a trailer for Black Panther.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting bit of information that came out because I feel like they're like, oh, well, we got to make this big announcement. John
Yeah.
Wick. Everyone's been waiting for a John Wick movie, so let's just put it with like one of the
I
biggest movies of the year.
I feel like John Wick is just like the movie where it's going to make money.
Well,
It's just an action. It's a solid action film
Yeah.
that people are just it's gonna put butts in seats.
Definitely.
Because I want to go see it. Have you seen all the John Wick movies?
I'm same boat.
you haven't seen the first one?
Have you seen the first one?
Nope.
No?
You-
Do you like Keanu Reeves?
I don't mind Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
I've seen like
He's a vampire.
what the
So-
first 2 what was it, Matrix movies?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think I saw the most recent one too.
Oh, the newest one?
Yeah, which was fine. I had to like piece a couple things together. It's cool. I mean, it came out when I was younger. I'm pretty sure we're roughly all the same age. It was
Yeah.
just something I really didn't get into.
That's fair.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
It's a
Yeah.
cult movie. Like a lot of either you watched it or you didn't.
Yeah.
More people ended up not watching it, so it's understandable.
But I mean, like, I can respect it. Like, I get like when I see like pop culture references about it. Like,
Yeah.
I went to a show on Halloween just really quickly. And like 2 of the people that I was with, they left and came back in the line, and they were dressed as like the 2 main characters from the Matrix. I was like, oh my
Okay.
god, I know who you guys are.
That's
You guys
pretty
are
awesome.
cool.
I get it.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. Huh?
I understood that reference.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was funny though because I remember when I had to show John Wick to my girlfriend, and as we were talking, she was like, I want to watch an action movie, but I want to care about the characters, and I want to care about what's going on, not just blind action. And I go, I'm gonna show you John Wick.
Yeah. John Wick's the perfect
And then I showed her
one.
John Wick, and she's kind of like, this is a slow beginning. What is going on? Then things happen in the very beginning, and she's like, let him kill everyone.
Yeah.
So, John, have you seen Bullet Train?
I am so behind on movies.
See, I'm not the only one.
You guys should have prepped me
No, you're
to
good.
watch
You're good.
movies.
Trust me. No. So you have to understand.
Oh, there was
Even
homework.
though
There was
I'm
homework.
producer for the podcast, right? I'm the one behind everything. He watches everything. He'll watch almost everything. I watch nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, even though I'm the one making the content happen.
He's a freak when it comes to watching stuff. Like a season will come out, like Cobra Kai came out, the new season. He's like, oh, next morning he's like, I already watched it. We're like, what? Like it just came out last night.
So I woke up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
and I couldn't go back to sleep, so I just put Cobra Kai on.
I burned through it. How are you
Yeah.
functioning right now? Just monsters. And
Yeah.
And the audacity.
Yeah,
I
just
really,
pure hype.
I really recommend, if you really want a good action movie, John Wick is good, but it is a slow beginning. If you want something that's like fast paced throughout the whole like movie, Bullet Train's a good one. Bullet Train, we actually like all enjoyed it. It was
Cool.
pretty good. But
It's the same director that did Deadpool 2. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, we all love Deadpool too. So
Yeah,
down with that.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Can't go wrong.
Can't.
Which also in Deadpool 2 there is a spoiler for John Wick.
Oh.
Oh, there is.
Yeah,
What?
it's in the very beginning.
What?
Because when they're going through the list of, because remember nobody was listed, like director, who
Yeah.
was the actors,
The
and everything
writers
like
who killed so and so in John
Oh,
Wick.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, from
It's
the-
been a minute, but
that.
now
Yeah,
yeah.
from the directors who had the audacity to kill so and so
Yeah.
in John Wick.
Yeah. They said that. Yeah.
There is a little bit of a tough spot in John Wick, the first one, because the whole point is that he goes on a killing rampage because someone
They
kills
killed his dog.
Yes.
Exactly.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Dude, it's literally like the
Years.
most well-known thing.
Yeah.
And
It's a movie that's been out for a while.
it's the only reason I won't show that movie to my fiance, because the dog scene is pretty tough to watch. Because like you
Well,
actually
because
see
you
the dog.
hear it. It's
Yeah,
really
Yeah,
bad.
you hear the neck
Yeah.
crack and the dog just go
Ooh.
poof, and you're like, dude, that's a small dog, dude. What the hell's wrong with
It was
you?
a beagle.
And then, yeah,
Yeah.
Cute
Oh.
beagle.
yeah, and then like
yeah.
after like, and then it cuts to black, and then when it comes back, you can see that the dog dragged itself to him because you just see a bloody.
Oh.
Stop.
trail.
Okay, I don't want. Let's not talk about that. That makes me sad.
That's
so
sad.
That's why it's really sad. That's why
Yeah.
after that scene, you're just
Which
like,
is
oh,
why your girlfriend said everybody should be killed.
afterwards she was like, I
Murder
want everyone
everyone.
dead. Everyone deserves to die.
Yeah.
That's why when he was like murdering people, she's like, good, make it slow. I was like, Jesus, all right. You don't even have a dog.
It's just a movie, okay?
She's like, no,
It's so
hilarious.
funny how people still react to that. Like, you can kill a human character on screen, but if you kill a dog, it's like, no. Like,
over.
Especially
yeah.
an adorable puppy.
An adorable puppy.
Well,
yeah.
Adorable puppy.
dude, we don't deserve dogs. Are you kidding me?
That's true.
Dogs are like
What about
angels,
Joey?
man. Yeah, I love that dog. That's cute.
Even when he pees in your bed.
Dude, he tried to morph with me yesterday.
What do you mean?
Like, cause
What does that mean?
It says stuff like this all the time. We're just like,
I have
okay.
a question. So was the dog standing on two legs and he was just like,
Shit.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
No,
just
'cause-
trying to do it all day? Or what?
So I think he got injured because he's been trying to do like Houdini escapes from his little area, and so we took the blanket off the cage up at the top. So I think
Yeah.
his leg got stuck, and he like not dislocated, but he bruised his like shoulder or something. So because Andy and I have been really busy the last couple of days. I got home, I think it was yesterday, and I'm like, dude, I'm too tired. I'm going to take a nap. But I carried Joey with me and put him on the bed. It's like, we're going to take a nap. Instead of taking a nap, he comes up to me, looks at me dead in the eye, and then digs his head right into my neck and just like starts putting massive pressure on my neck. Like he wanted to like become one. And I'm like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you, man?
No, he was doing a fatality. That was his fatality.
Friend, what
What
is it?
looking for the jugular. It's just like,
He's trying to smother you to death.
Exactly.
All he heard was finish him.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. I wouldn't be surprised. That wraps up these this little issue of comic strips.
quick
It's just
comic
two-
strips. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're-
quick little 2 bits of news and stuff.
There's some more stuff, but we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about that in a
Yeah.
bit. But we want to talk to our guest here
Yes.
about you, about everything that you do, your content. The
Tell
things
us
that
all
you're
about
enjoying.
you.
Yeah, everything. So, Renee, you got some questions to ask Brittany? Yeah, go ahead.
I guess my first question is the obvious question. How did you get into this world of cosplay? Like, what drove you to kind of be like, I'm going to do this, you know?
That's funny because I feel like it's the most boring answer. And honestly, no, really, because honestly, everybody that is quote unquote like a really popular, famous cosplayer now pretty much kind of has the same answer. I got into it during quarantine.
Oh, okay.
I
was just bored.
well, you know what? Because Endgame came out. It was like the best movie of the entire lifetime of Earth, and and
It
There
was
was
so
a Big
good.
Bang,
was a Yeah. great-
and then there was Endgame.
it's a great time to be alive.
there you go. Yeah, what a time to be alive. Yes. So
The greatest things to happen.
yeah, I mean, everybody not. Well, there were people who had their gripes, but aside
Right.
from that, like I loved the final Captain America suit with the scales and
Yeah,
everything.
Oh,
yeah.
same here, yeah.
And I was just on Instagram one day. We're all bored in quarantine. We binge everything we could binge on like every streaming platform. So I'm just like, okay, well, what's good with Instagram? And I came across like people dressing as Captain America, like cosplay and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, cool. Like this is a thing?
Yeah.
Like, interesting. And I decided to, like, click on their pages. I would look through their stuff. And then I finally got the courage to ask a couple cosplayers, like, hey, like, did you make this? Like, where did you get it? And they would tell me, like, oh, they got it from this place or this place. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, that's cool, like, knowledge. And then, a couple months go by, and I'm just like, that suit's looking really good. I'm like, all I do is just, like, go to work. And, even though we were in quarantine, like, the job that I had previously, like, we were still allowed to come into the office because it was only, like, 2 or 3 people. So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm saving all this money. We can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. I think I'm going to order this suit. And I was like, I'll make an excuse and say it's for my birthday. Which realistically, like, it came during my birthday month. It arrived, like, 40 days later. I know it's a random amount of allotted time, but it was great. I put it on and I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, I can't believe people do this, like, for fun. Like, that we can do this as adults. This is wild. So then I ended up just making my own, like, my cosplay account. And it was funny because I wasn't planning on it. And my friend that I've known for years, I've known her for about 15 years. She's known me my whole, like, half of my entire life, which is wild to think about. I love her. My friend's name is Jackie. She was like, hey, so I saw that you got that suit. Do you want to do a photo shoot in it? And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, let's go to the beach. We can do some cool stuff. And I was like, all right. And I looked through the photo. She's like, you should make an Instagram for this. And I was like, okay, maybe I will. and now we're here.
I feel like none of the decisions thus far to this point have been like, you know what? It's always been kind of like second guessing yourself. You're like, should I?
Right, yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah.
Because I'm like,
oh, why not?
yeah, exactly, yeah. Because it was like, I can do it, but I'm just like, should I? And you know what? It was the best decision I ever made.
It's funny that you mentioned how, like, you put the suit on and you're like, people do this for fun, because I think we can all relate to that whenever we pick up a lightsaber or, like, any prop from any franchise that we like.
Yep.
You're doing the full-on suit. You got the look, right? But even if, like, okay, when Renee bought his Captain America shield from Winter Soldier, right? I asked him, like, oh, did you start playing with it? He's like, yeah, I carry it around all over the place in my house. Yeah.
I bought, if it's $100, I'm getting $100 worth of time.
Right? Yeah.
With it.
Exactly.
When I bought my
money's worth.
I bought my lightsaber at Galaxy's Edge, I don't think I put it away the entire time.
No,
I literally just had it out and I was playing with it. I was eating food.
I had to change out my batteries on my lightsaber like twice. I was like,
my personal thing is, you're right. If I spent $200 on it, I'm gonna get $200 worth of fun out of it.
Yeah, exactly. As you should.
Yeah, so that was always really great. And I know what you mean. There's something about just like these little tiny items that just bring us into. It's time to play. Like, no, but I'm being serious.
So I'm afraid if I get a costume, I'm gonna do some, like, I'm acting out scenes and stuff like that by myself.
Listen, just like he said, every decision I made was kind of like second guess.
Yeah.
This is your sign.
Do it.
No. See, the difference is that if one of us gets a costume, you ever seen Parks and Rec?
Yeah, I think
okay. Remember the episode where Ben
gets the bat suit?
Gets the bat suit and treats herself, Dave? Yeah. So that's the problem that I feel might happen to one of us, where we buy like a bat suit or a Spider-Man suit, and then we walk out.
Come into the shop wearing the suit and be like, treat yourself.
One of us gets it. Nick will probably like wear it, come out and be like, and just start crying. He's like, what's wrong? He's like, I've never felt this happy before. We're in the bat suit. Which one though? What bat suit?
What bat suit?
Yeah. Oh. Which one? Oh, see, now he has to think.
I would do bat flick.
Bat flick?
I would do bat flick. It's already meaty. I can fit in that.
No, I would probably do Clooney.
You do Clooney?
Yeah, I do Clooney.
Is that bat nipples?
With the bat nipples?
I was going to say, that's the one that has the bat nips.
Yeah, because when you get bored, you can just kind of...
Why did I think that he would go for the bat nips, dude? I was like, I don't want to like assume, but then you played it
shiny. It's very shiny. Yeah. Wear it during the winter.
All right.
Are you sure it'll keep you warm, though?
I don't get a lot of baby powder.
It's a lot of baby powder, yeah.
All right, Brittany, so I got another question for you.
We'll just assume you're always cold.
Yeah, exactly.
So you cosplayed Captain America. Have you done any other cosplays?
Yeah, so I've done a couple different versions of Spider-Man. Okay. I've done the Peter B. Parker version. I've also done like my own version of like a Scarlet Spider. I had like a custom suit kind of made for that.
I saw that actually.
The Scarlet, really which Scarlet Spider? The
Ben Reilly,
with the ripped hoodie.
Yes, except instead of the ripped hoodie, I used a vest.
Dope.
It's a like a small spider denim vest. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then I had because the spider's usually on the hoodie part.
Yes.
since I had the vest, I had the guy who makes my patterns, Will, he put the spider just directly on the front. Because, you know, then where would you see? If there was just nothing there, it would look weird. You know?
Yeah, no.
You also did a great job with the web shooters with like.
Oh, yeah,
around.
thanks.
Yeah,
I did.
good.
I made that out of, I was 2mm foam and maybe like some 4mm foam. Like 12 little things of crazy glue. And it still stays to this day. And I made it like a year and a half ago. I made the web shooters and the belt and the little like ankle pouches because I designed it off of the design from the PS4 game.
Oh, okay.
So those are the web shooters that I did, and
it's the
I
full
made from
gauntlet
scratch.
look, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got like the little, like the web shooter containers all the way around.
Yeah, it's the Black Widow but silver. The Black Widow gauntlet but silver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're really chunky.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you make all the parts of your cosplay, or do you?
For that one, I did. Yeah.
Okay. But you said you had someone else help you out with Ben Reilly?
Yeah, with the pattern. So I frequently go to, I believe it's Web Warriors Workshop on Instagram.
Okay.
They, you can make custom patterns, or they have a lot of patterns already on their website that you can buy.
Okay.
I think they range from like $40 to $60, depending on what you want, or if it's like a custom thing. Then I have that pattern sent to a company in China called Print Costume. And they sew it up and it matches like perfectly. Because if you buy like a spider suit from Amazon, like I've seen this happen, everything's like mismatched. Like the webs are all janky. And it's obviously not fit to like your body. So they tailor it to your size. You give them your measurements and the pattern that you want them to print like, you know, the material on. And then they send it to you.
So, okay, now that's different than what, because we've had another cosplayer on here. We had 2 last year. We had someone named Cece and Sarah. And both of them gave us like different experiences of cosplay. I think both Cece and Sarah did everything from scratch.
Yeah,
right.
They build everything from
so
scratch. Yeah.
what's interesting
That's
is
impressive.
Yeah, but what's interesting is because I've heard of cosplayers like you where they outsource their things, their costumes to like get things done and stuff like that. But can you tell us about how you managed to get all that information to like basically have people help you out with those things, or like buying the parts for the costume as well? Because that's impressive that, you know, you went from what, quarantine was 2 years ago? Almost?
Just
3?
about, yeah.
About 2 years ago.
2.5,
And
yeah.
from that point to now, like you're coming up with all this information, how to do things. Like, where did you get all this information?
Honestly, it was just a lot of asking other cosplayers. It's as simple as that. Everybody's so nice and they're willing to help. They'll be like, oh, I'm not too knowledgeable in this, but my friend so-and-so, you know, go ahead and shoot them a message. They'll answer your questions. It was kind of like that. Some of it, I found out information on my own. But other times, especially just starting out, I just asked people. I just said, like, where did you get this suit? Was it expensive? Like, what's the price range? Then if I was interested in getting into Spider-Man, which I was, then I asked people who I followed who were Spider-Man cosplayers. And I was like, oh, how do you, like, what's with the face shells? Where do you get the suits made? Are they comfortable? Are they, like, thin? Are they hot?
So you had like a very helpful community to help you out. Yeah, that's good. That's nice.
The cosplay community is very helpful.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah. How's the community?
For the most part, it's a lot more good than bad.
That's what you love. It's for the most part.
I know, because
The hesitation.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, I've never come across terrible cosplayers. Like everybody that I know, I can genuinely say, like, I appreciate all of their friendship. They're really good people. They have a lot of good hearts. But I have seen other parts of cosplay, like not directly involving me, where there are just not nice people out there. And it happens. I mean, you know, not everybody's a nice person.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Last week when we had Lewis on, he said something very interesting where he was just like, what's the point of withholding information if you're that scared to basically like have competition and stuff? And I think like you see that in every community, right? Because Lewis is in the business of making stickers and pins.
Gotcha.
He's a graphic designer, right?
He makes, he made this.
That little Bulbasaur sticker right
The
there.
Chewy
cool.
Bulbasaur,
Yeah.
I was gonna say he looks like Chewy.
Yeah,
Cute.
it's a Chewy Saur or Chewy Bulbasaur.
Yeah,
No,
Chewy
Chewy
Bulbasaur.
Sour's good.
Yeah,
Chewy
Chewy
Sour.
Chewy Saur works.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's
Chewy
why
Saur.
it fell right off the tongue, and I was like, I don't think that's actually what he called it. But if it's not, that works.
But you have
That's
like
the new name now.
Yeah.
he'll probably like text you right now.
Rebrand.
He's like, I heard the show. I'm stealing that. I'm not gonna credit you guys.
The next day, the shop's updated.
I want 1%, Lewis.
Don't tell him that right now. He's in the
Already
shower
did.
probably.
He's in the shower.
But yeah, no, he was saying how like, you know, you meet a lot of people that will give you that information and want to help you out because they're not afraid of that competition. Like the community's small enough that you want to boost one another up and stuff, right? You would kind of expect that in the cosplay community as well, because the more cosplayers you have, the cooler it is. Like how cool is it to go to a Comic-Con and see like, 10 to 15 different spider people, but dressed differently, right? And their own interpretations as well, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've never encountered anyone bad, right? You never have had a bad experience with cosplaying?
I've never really, no, because like I said, thankfully all the people that I've interacted with and that I kind of have, I don't want to say it's like my circle, but it's just people that I am frequently around at cons that we always meet up. They're just really genuinely nice people.
If you were to give people advice on how to start their cosplaying journey, what would you tell them? Specifically for people that are looking to like outsource materials and stuff. Do you have any advice for that?
Well, I feel like cosplayers get asked that a lot. Like, what would you say to somebody starting out? That's usually like the number one question, and that's totally fine. It's kind of like reiterating what I've been saying, but just don't be afraid to ask people. Just talk to people. And like I said, a lot more people are open to helping than you'd think. Like I said, anybody I've asked a question to, they've never like steered me in the wrong direction. They've always been like, oh, here's this, this, and this. If you ever need more help, like let me know. Or if you have any questions about how this works, just shoot me a message. Yeah,
I think it's just because of quarantine, people they're still afraid to ask around. I mean, especially
I don't know because I mean I've seen cosplay be done even before quarantine, and the community has always been relatively very positive. You know, there's even when cosplays aren't exactly the best, everybody around them is always like going like, man, you did a really good job. I see that you they don't really want to talk down because if they're super judgmental on somebody else's costume, then it's going to be judgmental on their costumes. And nobody wants that. You worked hard on it.
And also like everybody starts out somewhere, especially if they're the type of cosplayer that makes everything from scratch, which those people impress the hell out of me.
Exactly.
Very much kudos to them. But, like I said, everybody starts out somewhere, so I don't ever think I've seen anybody, seen in comments or, in person, people saying, oh, that cosplay looked gross. It's more like, oh, wow, they really tried with this cosplay, they're, if they keep doing more and more cosplays, they're gonna get better and better. This is a good starting point.
Yeah, I think I've only done cosplay once, and that was when I went as Mojo Jojo to Anime Expo. Nice. And that was a lot of fun. And I just got, I got a Lincoln hat, and then I literally got, I printed out brain, like a brain, and then I put it inside on top of the Lincoln hat. Then I cut it, and then I got duct tape, and I just went strip by strip to do the purple.
Nice.
And to make the actual background and everything. It took me about 3 hours to do. Then I went to home. I think I went to Goodwill, got a purple dress, and then I trimmed the dress down. So then I made and then I made a cape out of a bed sheet or something like that, because my buddies were going as the Rowdy Rough Boys.
Oh, cool.
They were going to go as the Rowdy Rough Boys, and they were like, dude, we don't have a Mojo Jojo. And I'm like, I'll do a Mojo Jojo. I'm down to do it. I think I did it in a couple of hours. And the funniest thing was that all four of us were walking together. I got pulled aside to take photos more than they did.
Nice.
Because their costumes were they put the red shirts on, and they just called themselves the Rowdy Rough Boys.
Right, yeah.
I thought mine was looking really janky when I first got there. I had so much fun doing it. Even though I knew for a fact it didn't look great, it didn't look perfect. It was
But
rough.
the fact is that you tried and you went to have fun with your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what makes it the best thing ever.
And not only that, but also I think it's all about confidence too when you're going into, because even if it doesn't look great, it's all about how you wear it. Because I was walking around, I would see Powerpuff Girls walking around, and I'd be like, Powerpuff Girls, and I would be running around trying to capture them, and it was really funny. Or the the Powerpuff Girls that were the guys.
Yeah.
It was them wearing the guys wearing masks, and they were robbing banks.
Oh, I remember that.
The buff ones.
Yeah, the really buff There was a group of guys that came as that.
That's funny.
Cool.
And I was above, and I saw them, and I then yelled, Powerpuff Girls, and they all turned around, and I'm like, oh, no. And it was really funny, because then you got a bunch of people, and they were all laughing and everything. But once again, it's all how you wear it.
Exactly.
If you're starting off and you're and you feel be comfortable in what you're wearing. Like you said, is it comfortable? Is it hard to wear? Is it is it going to snag in places or anything like that? Those are the most important things, because you have to remember, I'm going to wear this for an entire con.
Yeah.
So
right. You're going to be walking around the whole time, babysitting a few. And you brought up a good thing, thrift stores. Thrift stores, Goodwills, everything. A lot of cosplayers start out that way too. And even well-seasoned cosplayers that I know, they'll go to thrift stores or secondhand stores for their materials and whatnot. Never shame in doing that.
Yeah, because you can get a lot of stuff there cheap, and also you can. I've found that even thrift stores, they'll have pre-made costumes because especially during Halloween,
Oh yeah.
thrift stores will put together baggies and go like, this is a Johnny Bravo costume. It's like literally jeans, a black shirt, and like sunglasses.
Yeah.
And they just put it together and then they put it in a bag and they put it up in the front.
Yeah.
Easy cosplay.
Yeah, easy cosplay that you can just do. So think about how you can do an easy cosplay, put it together, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So before we move on to talking about premieres and everything, right? Because we mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
You went to the Black Panther premiere. Do you have any future cosplays that maybe you want to kind of like reveal, talk about a little bit, or you want to keep those under wraps still?
No, it's fine. I'm pretty sure I've said a couple things like on my Instagram or something, but I am working on a Daredevil, like the new Daredevil Elektra version.
Okay.
The mustard colored Daredevil or the
No,
red?
not the mustard color. So when Elektra takes over for Daredevil.
Oh,
In the comics. Yeah, in the comics.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah,
Ooh.
so I'm gonna be doing that one. I just picked up my cowl from my friend. They make some of my other 3D printed items. I tried it on and it fit great. They have my measurements to a T, so I don't doubt them at all.
Okay.
So,
I was telling Renee I need to sand it still and like paint it and
so
like
for the cowls and everything else, do they end at the bottom of your ear or do they go all the way down?
yeah.
or-
So it ended like right about here.
It's like your
Yeah.
jawline
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. So like I'm like my hair's in the way. Yeah. So it ended about like right here.
Okay.
But it's also not covering because it goes over the ear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
okay.
not the exact Elektra design because I know hers covers the ear, which I didn't realize until I had already asked my friend. Oh, I commissioned them to print it, and I was like, that's fine. I'll just get like I don't know what it's called, but I have another really good friend that cosplays Daredevil mainly. They're gonna show me this like little hooded thing that they pull over to cover their ears. It matches the one on Netflix.
Okay.
So
okay.
you can't see Matt's ears.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just have to get one of those or like have my other friend who does like all my tailoring for my suits. I can have her make it.
This is interesting because you've chosen two characters so far that people will know, but I feel like aren't cosplayed enough. Ben Reilly Spider-Man and then Elektra Daredevil. That's
Yeah.
cool. All right.
Well,
That's
I mean, that also goes with the do what you haven't seen.
yeah, exactly.
Because if everybody's doing it, I mean, then what's the point?
Yeah, I mean it's unique to everyone's design, but it's just
Yeah.
interesting that you're picking two of them, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
I have just really quick, not to keep
No,
dragging
you're
this
good, you're
out.
good, you're good.
It's all about you.
I really want. I've really been looking into doing a Wolverine, but like obviously like an X-23, but I know in continuity she's just Wolverine now.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at doing that one. It's
The
either
full-
gonna be
the full yellow or the with the ears,
it's either
or-
gonna be the because I've always loved the traditional blue and yellow 80s look, but I think I may go with the black and yellow look,
Right.
and another suit would be the black and gray look where she has the leather
Oh.
jacket on.
Oh,
Isn't that when she's in X-Force?
Yeah,
the
she's
in
black
the
and gray
X-Force.
one,
That's
right?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I may do both of those. I obviously have to start with one first, and I would have to commission my friend to make the pattern for it, and then I buy files from this really good modeler, both Walsh and Vex 3D. That's where I'll be getting my Wolverine helmet. Cowl. I don't know.
I think it's a cowl technically.
Cowl.
yeah.
Yeah. So I have to get two of those, obviously, so I can spray paint them the different colors. Because one's black and gray, the other one's black and yellow.
How are you planning on doing the claws? Like, were you gonna like have those commissioned as well? Were you gonna make them yourself?
Well, recently, my friend Frank, he's Frankly Built on Instagram. Not that he needs to be blown up anymore, Frank. I'm kidding. I love you, Frank. He recently sent me a printer, so I need to start learning how to print my own things. I need to set aside some time to learn, but I would really like to print my own claws. I'm sure I could also find files on like Thingiverse or something.
Yeah.
But I haven't talked to him about it yet, but I was trying to see if him and I can figure out a way to like get retractable ones working.
Oh, there's
But-
ways. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's sick.
I've seen like this one on YouTube where this guy does it out of like popsicle sticks, and it's like a rubber band maneuver kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like they come out and they retract. But I was trying to see if we can figure out a way to do that with like 3D printed items, so it could either like the Russian doll itself, and then come
You
out.
have to. What was it in the actual print? You can do gears. And you can actually set it up so that way it has a pocket, and then you can then set up a gear, and then you'd have to make gears. It's a lot of engineering. but
I
you
know
can
an
get it done.
engineer.
Yeah, it's a lot of engineering, but
No, it
can
sounds
get
silly.
done.
It sounds silly, but I do. Emily,
Yeah.
the engineer. She doesn't need any more followers. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
She's like, oh,
Listen,
she's
no,
like, whatever.
I love them. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they call themselves the Iron Idiots. They're
Okay.
great. Emily is an engineer. Like she builds Iron Man suits and does a lot of cool stuff. Yeah. Frank built his own Iron. All of them do. My friend Danny, my friend Kiara, they all build their own Iron Man suits.
That's sick.
So
But only
eventually,
one out of the 4 is an engineer.
so eventually, are you gonna build an Iron Man suit, or are you gonna join the club?
Is that the goal?
Is that the goal to eventually get good enough to build an Iron Man suit?
Well, see, that's why they want me to learn.
There you go.
There you go.
I beat you to the punch. Sorry.
You did. I don't know if you guys have seen that Bandai action figure. It's the armored Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one I want to make.
The Iron Patriot or
No, not Iron Patriot.
No.
It's the armored Captain America.
It's an armored Captain America
There's a
suit.
difference.
Yeah.
That was never in the comics, right?
No,
It
but
was
it's
just
No.
it's a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
toy,
it's
okay.
a toy.
it's a what if. Like, what if this was like a
What
thing?
What if Captain America was Tony Stark?
Yeah. I'm assuming your favorite superhero is Captain America?
I mean, he's okay.
He's
You
decent.
know, he's all right.
He's a cool cat.
Wait, I wasn't like, is that
I know,
sarcasm?
he wasn't sure.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's Chris Evans, isn't it? That's what sold you.
Yeah.
I mean,
So were you Team Cap or Team Iron Man for Civil War?
I was always Team Cap.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, because it's Team Cap.
It's
Come
Team
on.
Cap.
Yeah, I think you all are Team Cap, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm Team Iron Man.
I
See?
understand why Iron Man was pissed. Like he said, he thought him and Steve were friends.
Yeah.
You would want your friend to help you stop the person who killed your parents.
Yeah.
But it's like Steve's also torn because he knows who Bucky was prior to that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It wasn't him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
He
no.
was getting, in both directions. Like he couldn't win no matter who he chose.
See,
In all fairness, he almost got Cap on his side. He almost did.
Yeah.
And there's that scene where they're all there, and he's like, "Listen, Cap, we can make this work." And he's like, "All right, Tony, if you think so, like we can."
I mean, I'm
see,
sure
I'm
you're
not-
paraphrasing.
No, that's the exact lines from the movie. All right?
See, I don't not like Captain America for that reason. The reason I don't like Captain America is because he pops in at the end credits of Homecoming and says, you thought there was an end credit scene, huh? Nah, there isn't.
Yeah.
And it pieces out, and I'm like, you asshole. I was so excited for that
Yeah.
movie. I was hyped. I'm like, good end credit scene, and he decided to juke me, and ever since
Just to
then,
call you out.
never again. Yeah, never again. Never
In
been
all
Team Cap.
fairness, I'm sure we can get into that later, but end credit scenes haven't been very good for a while.
I feel like they've kind of I feel like they're trying to be more setups than anything. Like, rather than it being a big reveal, they're just kind of like, okay, what's the next thing that we're gonna do? And here's a tease. And there's a big problem with that. We'll get into it when we talk about Black Panther.
That's what I'm saying. We'll get into it later.
But before we talk about the movie, let's talk about your
Like, you want to diss Cap some more?
no.
Dang.
We'll do that afterwards.
Oh,
Yeah. You went to the premiere for Black Panther.
yes.
No
I
more
did.
Marvel snipers around here, right? You're not on their watch list or anything, but you got to see it a couple days before the release, right? The official release.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you?
Honestly, it's always really chaotic at those things.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. Just there's so much stuff going on, and it's really a long day. So sometimes you're just like that Mr. Krabs meme where it's like spinning out, you know. It's great. It's always a great experience, and I'm always very grateful that I get to go to these things because I don't personally get invited. It's friends that I know who get invited by Disney and Marvel, and they take me as their plus one.
Got it.
Yeah.
You still go though. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate it very much. I sometimes I get like overwhelmed thinking about it. I'm like, whoa, this is my life. Like I would have never thought.
Yeah.
Because I've always loved the MCU. My favorite movies are from the MCU, but I would have never thought that I can go to a premiere. I didn't even know that was like a thing.
yeah.
And here I am, like 7 premieres later, and it's just like,
Wait, you've gone to 7 different ones?
yeah.
Which I thought you only went to 2 with Eternals and
No,
Black Panther.
she also goes
No,
to
yeah.
the series, the TV show premieres as well too.
Oh. Which
Yeah.
ones? Can you name all 7?
Yeah, so I went to, it actually started last October was my first one. I think it was on the 14th. That was Eternals. And that was wild because of just like all of the big names that were there. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to see Angelina Jolie.
Did you
Oh,
see Salma Hayek?
Yes, but she didn't come over to our area.
You just saw her from a distance.
Yeah, my friend whose family goes to the premiere,
Uh-huh.
him, his wife, and his kids, they were dressed up as Salma Hayek's character, so she was having good moments with them, and I was like, oh, that's totally cool, you know. I'm not going to be like Salma, you know.
Don't pay attention to the kids, pay attention to me.
I completely forgot that Angelina Jolie was in that movie because Salma Hayek was the big, like, I feel like she was advertised more in that movie than anyone else, right?
I mean, Selma and Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
That was the reason why when we were talking about it, we were like, a lot of people are going to die in this movie.
Yeah.
Way too many big names are in this movie. They
That
all
kind
gotta
of
go.
correlates with what
Yeah,
you
we
were
gotta
saying.
go.
Where it was like, it's just like a bunch of big names, was chaotic and everything. But so you went to Eternals.
I went to Eternals, and then after that, my other friend Chief, he invited me to the Hawkeye Disney premiere.
Okay.
Nice.
That was cool because they told you to put like a holiday spin on your outfit.
Uh-huh.
So I wore my Winter Soldier just vest because the Captain America suits come in like three pieces. It comes in like the jacket piece, and then you put the vest over and you zip it from the back, and then you have the pants. So I didn't wear the jacket underneath. I put a Christmas sweater underneath. That was navy. So it matched the Winter Soldier blue. And I just wore a Christmas hat, and somebody let me carry their shield because I didn't bring it that day. And then after that, not in complete order, but I've also gone to Thor: Love and Thunder. I went to the Moon Knight premiere.
I'm assuming.
She-Hulk.
Oh yeah, I
I'm
went to
assuming
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Yeah. Wait, She-Hulk, Moon Knight. See, now I just feel like I'm bragging.
What-
No,
No,
Multiverse
it's
of Madness. You also went to
Multiverse of Madness?
Oh yeah, Multiverse. That one was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Why was that one different from all the others?
Elizabeth Olsen
Oh, okay.
and Haley Atwell.
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, did you get to meet any of the actors and actresses in the movie, or even the directors or producers?
I think one of my, and this is gonna sound like offbeat, but I got to meet Sam Raimi, and that was amazing.
That sounds awesome.
Because and it was cool because one of the professional Marvel like photographers that are there, sometimes they'll take a picture of like the actors talking with cosplayers and whatnot. So like I was taking a selfie with him, and then like they got a picture of me and Sam Raimi taking a selfie, and I like that one better than the selfie, but but it was cool because it's they do their best to take their time with everybody, but also they have like handlers. So sometimes, like, I saw Haley Atwell, but I think I was like the only Captain Carter cosplayer that she didn't take a picture with, which is fine. I wasn't like tripping about it. I was just like, oh my God, you're here in person.
Yeah.
But it was because like our handler was like, you need to go, like you need to take the professional pictures. You got to go to because there's different areas. There's like the fan pit area, and then they have the celebrities walk through. Then they go to the press area where they get the professional photos taken of them, and then they do interviews.
Right. They're on a schedule.
Yeah. So he was like, you gotta go, and I saw her. She was like, well, I can't like loop around or I can't go like zigzag, and he was like, no, you gotta go, and like she just walked right past me, and I was like, oh, it is what it is. Yeah.
You got to see her. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the most part, the celebrities are really nice. They do their best to get their moments with everybody, especially if it's cosplayers dressed as their character.
Yeah.
I've gotten pictures with quite a few. Again, like I do not
You're
want to
not
sound
bragging.
like I'm bragging.
No, you're not bragging. This is what people want to hear. They want to hear your experience, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, for bringing it back to Eternals, when I met Angelina Jolie, it was great because I told her that I really liked the movie Maleficent, and I know a lot of people had like their gripes with it, but I thought it was great. I liked the first and the second one, and it was like mid after her signing something for me or like taking a selfie with me, and I was like, oh, by the way, I really love Maleficent, like it's a great movie, and like she turned around and like gave me this look, and she was like, well, she is a really good character to play, and I was like,
She spoke to me.
but yeah, and then more recently, there's just not a person on this earth that doesn't love Simu. You know, I saw
Lee?
I saw him, and he had like a really great moment with my friend. He was like asking her. They've chatted before, I guess. Clearly, him and my friend Sabine, they're great. He was like, "Oh, how's your job going? Like, I know you moved. How's the move?" And I'm just like, "Are you guys secret best friends? What's going on here?" And then he came by and like took a selfie with me. That was great. I almost melted into a puddle because like the dude's just like so pure. We got to protect him at all costs.
Yeah.
Have you actually seen a lot of like the posts when he goes to cons?
Yes.
And stuff. It's so funny because he'll find people that come as
Shang-Chi.
as Shang-Chi,
yeah.
and like he'll walk around and he'll just be like, "Wait, if you're Shang-Chi, who am I?"
One of the more recent ones from San Diego Comic-Con, this cosplayer I know, Sam, that's my friend, he was the one who Simu ran into.
Oh.
Yeah. It was cool.
cool.
I was like putting on I was like, I know this guy?
I think
that's
one of my
awesome.
favorite moments that I've seen from a premiere was the Moon Knight one, where Oscar Isaac takes a photo with a kid that's dressed up as Moon Knight.
Oh, that's Logan. Logan's great. Yeah, he's cool. Him and his dad are awesome.
You know the kid?
Yeah.
So you know what sneak thing I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
For the Moon Knight premiere.
Yeah, for the Moon
little
Knight premiere.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, his dad helps him like makes all his cosplays and stuff.
That's cool, because that was such a sweet moment when I saw him like take a photo with it and everything. And I love Oscar Isaac. He's watermelon and I'm watermelon, so I'm like,
Nice.
yeah.
I remember when you were posting stuff for Love and Thunder, you took a selfie of a person that's not even in the movie, but a well-known celebrity was Miles Teller.
Oh yeah.
He was at the premiere. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, what?
Was he
I,
doing
I
at the
know.
premiere?
I know. A lot of people were like, "What the hell?"
Is he in the movie?
Because I was like, "Oh damn, that's Miles Teller." And like
Yeah.
sometimes depending on like who you're standing next to, I usually know everybody I'm standing next to. I'm like, "All right, guys, before everybody starts coming, do you want the group selfie or do you want like a single one?" And when it came to Miles, they were like, "Just everybody," and like everybody crowded behind me, and I was like, "Click."
So you
It was
took
cool.
you have a photo with Miles Teller.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
He was just, I guess, around the neighborhood.
Yeah,
I was just gonna
he
pop
was
in.
just chilling. Yeah.
See, what you don't know is he was motion capturing for the goat.
Basically.
He was really nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. If you had to, you said Multiverse of Madness was your favorite premiere, right? Or do you have a favorite premiere that you went to?
I don't know if it was my favorite. I did really like it though because again, like Elizabeth Olsen, we're all there for Scarlet Witch. I mean, come on.
Of course, yeah.
It was a Scarlet Witch movie.
Yes.
Anybody who says it's a Doctor Strange movie,
No.
wrong opinion.
No.
No, I'm kidding.
It's your opinion, but you know you still could be wrong.
It was half and half. I'm obviously biased because I really like Elizabeth Olsen's
Yeah.
character. It's a good character.
Yeah.
Right.
That was obviously just more memorable one. They're all memorable. It's just because like it had so much hype, and then I know like a lot of people were like, "Oh, it disappointed me," but whatever. Everybody's got like their own opinions on movies, and that's fine. I don't bash anybody's
Right.
because it's your personal opinion. I'm not gonna say you're wrong when it's coming from you. You know.
See, that's a problem because my professor, she's a screenwriting professor. She's like, "Oh, I've seen a what?
What?
What? What?
What are you
What?
talking?
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh yeah, I went to go see Multiverse of Madness with my son and his friends, and I didn't like the movie." And my mouth literally dropped during the class, and I'm like, "What the hell? Well, why not?" She's like, "Oh, it's because it was all over the place." And I'm like, "Well, that's kind of messed up to say because you're a screenwriter." And
You should have said, yeah, they went to so many different dimensions. You know, like, it went all over the place.
I love the
Literally.
movie, but yeah. So you don't have a favorite premiere or anything, right?
I mean, honestly, it's just like I said. I'm always just super grateful to be there. It's hard to pick because like I'm always surrounded with familiar cosplay faces, and we always get to make memories and take like goofy pictures and stuff.
Did you get to go to Spider-Man?
That one I did not go to.
Oh,
That
okay,
one,
No Way Home.
That was like I don't remember how it worked, but it worked like a different way than these ones worked. It was more organized by like Sony, not Disney Marvel.
That's right.
So it was different. But there were a lot of amazing cosplayers like from out of state that got invited in their spider suits, which was great. And I was like, yes, love seeing you guys thrive. But dang, favorite, I don't know why I can't answer that.
You love them all.
They're
all your favorite
just-
children.
They're all just yeah. They're all just really good, and like there was different interactions with celebrities. It was cool. Like I mean, Love and Thunder was great because I finally got to take a picture with Taika. He was looking like Gomez that day with a striped
Oh my
suit.
god, Taika.
Yeah, he was great. It was funny though because I had my Thor hammer out, right? And you don't sell those anymore.
Yeah.
And obviously just was gonna get Chris to sign it. First world problem. But I was like talking with Taika and like I just had it there on the barricade. I was holding it and I had him sign my badge because like you get little badges and on the back it like says where you're seating in the theater and stuff. So it says like Thor: Love and Thunder and then has like the poster on the laminated badge guest. So I usually have like Feige or whoever sign it, right? And so Taika signed it. And then I guess like it moved because it was still on my neck, and we were like talking with him. And then I'm just kind of like twirling the thing around, waiting for the next person to come by, and then like I'm like just twirling, you know how he does it, and I'm just like, oh, and I was like, what is this scribble? I was like, Chris already signed this. What is this? And I looked, and then I looked at my badge. I was like, dang it, Taika signed it too. Yeah.
Dude, Taika's great. He's one of my favorite directors.
So he
man.
gave you a sneak.
Yeah, because like I literally like okay, here's the hammer, right? And I had the badge right here. My badge must have slipped because I was talking, and he signed the hammer like right after. It's just kind of like automatic, you know.
He's like, I already signed your badge. You gonna sign your hammer?
Is it true that Taika's like a pretty cool guy to talk to?
Oh, he was super nice.
Yeah.
It was a very short interaction, but he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard like nothing but either really great things about Taika or like really weird things about Taika.
I mean, that's on brand though.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because I've heard that he'll like walk into areas with like basically like just showing off that he's got people around him and stuff like that. Like he's kind of like, you know.
And
like,
others, he just like dressed it as a bum.
Exactly. Yeah, I've heard like both sides, which is pretty cool. All right. Premieres are great. Cosplay. We ready to talk? Or do you have another question?
Yeah. For this one, for Black Panther, how was it? Like, how was it different from? Was it different from all the other ones, especially with Chadwick Boseman being
The weight of everything.
Like the weight of everything kind of going around. Like, how was that?
Listen, I'll change my answer, and I'll probably say like this one was my favorite one. I think just because the amount of like joy and serotonin I felt surrounded by like my friends and like cosplayers who got invited from around the country was amazing. Everybody was so happy. The culture was being shared. Everybody, like every so often, people would shout Wakanda Forever, or like the Namor side would say like Imperious Rex, and it was just really and I don't want to sound cheesy, but like I even kind of get a little emotional about it. It's just like everybody felt like as one there, and it was just amazing to be around everybody so happy and not like everybody's grieving,
Yeah.
even if you didn't know Chadwick personally, like the man still had an impact across multitude, not just like the MCU. He played a lot of great characters who were people in real life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jackie Robinson, for example. I'm a big Dodgers fan, so I know everything.
James Brown. He played a lot of different people.
Yeah, so I'm a big Dodgers fan, so like I know everything Jackie Robinson. I mean, I'm not an encyclopedia, but I know a lot of the important information. Obviously why he was important. But yeah, there was just obviously not during the movie, but before the movie, there was not tears or nobody was sad. Everybody was just hype, and like they say, like the taglines usually like it's for the culture, and it's true. All the representation, everybody was just so happy, and we all felt like one big family. We always do, but like this was like a different sort of family feeling, and it was really nice. And I honestly just felt really honored to be there because there was. They did this differently as well. They only selected a few cosplayers to be in the fan pit. It was a lot smaller than it was normally. I even was like, somebody else can go, and they were like, no, like you can come in, and I was just like, all right. I mean, I guess I'm not gonna argue, but I just felt really incredibly lucky to be there, and yeah. So I think this one was my favorite one.
For Black Panther, what did you cosplay as when you went?
So I went, it's going to sound silly, but I went like more premiere cosplay chic. I had a green dress that went one over the shoulder and it had like a little slit here. And I actually made like the week before, because I have a regular 8 to 4 job, 9 to 5, whatever.
Yeah.
I made the gauntlets of Namor. And the armbands, the belt, and the little wings for like the feet. Yeah,
that's cool.
So I did that.
So you did femme Namor more or less. That's pretty sick.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I was like, what can I be? And then I was like, duh, I could be Namor. So I was just like, I'll do that, but with like a girly twist and to be more premiere chic.
Right. That's an interesting kind of take on like the Namor kind of, because I'm not the bathing suit. I mean, he just wore a bathing suit the entire movie.
He wore underwear.
Yeah, he did.
That was it.
Yeah.
Underwear and jewelry.
Briefs. Yeah.
No, it was not briefs. He wore MeUndies. That's what it was. It was MeUndies with a lot of gold and vibranium. That was it.
I'm shouting out a lot of like cosplayers here, but my friend Dan, Namor cosplays, has loved Namor for years, and like this movie meant everything to him. And one of my other friends, Andy, invited him to the premiere, and he got to meet Mr. Huerta, and it was amazing. Like I was just so happy for him. He kills it at the cosplays. If you guys want to follow him, take a look. Amazing.
I think what we could do at the in the description for the show, if you want to shout out any cosplayers or anyone that you mentioned, just give me their IGs and I can put it in the description so people can find them as well.
How did you end up doing the wings on the shoes? You said you did wings.
I actually did that like 5 minutes before I had to leave.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I just drew out like a generic wing shape on a piece of paper. I cut the piece of paper out, and then I drew it onto like a 2mm piece of foam.
Okay.
Oh.
Like 4 times. Yeah. And then I just, because I was like, oh, I only need 2. And I was like, dumb, I need 4. Because it's on each side of the foot, right? Yeah.
It's 2 on each, yeah.
So I had like brown vinyl that I had bought. I wrapped it around my ankle, cut it, and I made sure it was like the same. I think it was like 1.5 inch thick or something. super glued Velcro to it. Put that on my ankle first, and then I super glued the wings onto the brown vinyl, and then they just stood. Thankfully, the cosplay gods were in my favor that day. Because let me tell you, I wasn't so lucky at the Thor: Love and Thunder premiere. Every like 2 minutes, because it was probably like 96 degrees outside, something fell apart.
What did you cosplay as for Thor: Love and Thunder?
Mighty Thor. Which is why I have no pictures as Mighty Thor, because everything fell apart and I need to fix it. I literally had my friend who was also invited. She lives in Chicago, Kiara. She was helping me make, like, put everything together till like 2 a.m. the night before the premiere. And then we were still gluing stuff the morning of, and I think a little bit in the parking lot.
Where was the premiere for Black Panther? Was it in...
It's always on like Hollywood Boulevard, in between like the Dolby Theater and the El Capitan.
Mm-hmm.
And you watched the movie at the Dolby Theater, or?
Half of us in the Dolby, the other half in the El Capitan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like trying to figure out, I'm like, where is it? Because I know that sometimes they do the Chinese theater, but yeah. What movie did I go watch at the Chinese theater? Spider-Man. I've never been in that one. So yeah, right. So I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool theater. Yeah. I've been in El Capitan too. That was a pretty cool. That was a small theater though.
Yeah, that one's pretty small.
I remember going to go see when they re-released episode 4 at Romans. Oh, at the Chinese.
Uh-huh.
They were re-showing it in Dolby Digital. Me and my brother went. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was really cool just to like check out Star Wars.
Yeah.
The original Star Wars on a big screen. Well, seeing the original, because I remember, because when I grew up, I would only see it on my TV.
The VHS.
Yeah, the VHS.
Have you ever tried to watch that now?
The VHS?
A couple of years. It was probably like a decade ago now. It's like when you say, "Oh, the other day," and it was like 2 months ago.
Right.
How long has it been?
Right. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago, because I did this with my friend who's no longer with us. But I bought the OG like Star Wars movies on VHS.
I have them too.
And he brought his like old VHS player from the garage, and we tried watching it. Dude, we were like crying halfway through the movie because it was just so bad. Like the visuals were so bad, not the movie.
It was just staticky.
Yeah.
It was like staticky and like just it felt fuzzy and blurry. But I feel like obviously just because it's old technology.
I thought it was funny because I found an old VHS tape and I didn't realize that I really liked the Ewok fight scene. Because apparently,
because they died.
No, because it's a really dope
fight scene. That one that got blown up was sad.
That was really sad.
Come on, Nick. Why are you laughing at that?
Like,
yeah, he's trying to get his friend. I really liked that scene as a kid.
Why?
I must have really liked. I don't know.
Man, you really love watching
not the death scene
things die, huh?
Not
You're
specifically
so
that,
messed up, dude.
Just like that whole like action, because when I was playing through it, it was the tape was really thin.
Sure.
Because you would get like
that specific
section. Yeah. So I must have rewound it a lot to like.
You really like watching that little dude die, huh?
I must have.
You're so messed up.
This is why he likes John Wick.
Right. He's like, yeah, I'm on the side of killing a dog.
Just put one in between its legs.
All right, so we've talked about your cosplay. We've talked about the premiere. We're ready to talk about the movie Black Panther?
Yes.
We got about like half an hour left on the show, right? About half an hour, yeah?
Let's put a spoiler disclaimer.
All right, so
obviously.
it's your spoiler warning. I think we should like each one of us look at the camera and say this is your spoiler. Other way.
I'm like looking at this one.
This is your...
Are we doing it in sync or one by one?
One by one. So Nick and I will look over here. We're going to lock eyes to everyone watching right now. We're going to tell, not to them, not to me.
I got to lock eyes to one of those 5 cameras on there.
It's like 5
it's the middle one. No, I actually don't know which one we're recording.
So this entire bit is your warning right here to click out of the video or click out of the podcast to go watch Black Panther.
Yeah.
Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning.
And then come back and finish the podcast.
Thank you.
Yes,
See?
what
exactly. Natural right there.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
What a layup.
Spoiler warning.
Came in with that assist.
Yeah, really came in with that assist. Just in case you didn't know, Black Panther dies in the beginning.
Oh God.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just really like put the knife in.
Yeah. I don't want to give a whole summary about this because it's almost like a 2.5 hour long movie. It's
3
pretty
hours.
long.
No, it's 3 hours.
So I'm just gonna say this: what we originally thought about the movie, where it was gonna be a war between Wakanda and the Atlanteans, which turned out to be not Atlanteans. What are they called? They're
the Locanians.
Yeah. Yes, you're gonna have to help me out with that.
The Locan.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to help me out with that because I'm barely getting used to that whole
good.
transition.
Yeah.
They're fighting over vibranium because the Wakandans figure out that they're not the only people that have vibranium.
Well, they're not even really fighting about vibranium. They're more fighting about knowledge of their existence.
Yeah. So it's more along the lines of kind of like world power struggles and trying to keep themselves secret from the rest of the world, because this reality is that now that this resource has become available and known to the public, to the world, other powers basically want to take it, right? And so you kind of have this story where it deals a lot with grieving loss, especially like someone that was extremely close to you, a family member or a close friend, and that entire theme carries throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
And Namor is pretty much a catalyst that kind of keeps poking the bear constantly throughout the movie, where you understand why he is the way he is, but he's also just kind of being a jerk about it and says like, yeah, you lost someone, sucks. I still want to protect my people throughout the entire movie.
So I was thinking about it last night when I got home and I was playing God of War.
Yeah, you got a day off. We get it. Jesus, man.
So
You had to put that in there.
Yeah, right?
Because I'm like a crack addict right now.
Oh, my God.
We're doing this podcast and all I can think is God of War. How do I fix that? How do I finish that puzzle when I get back?
By keep continuing the conversation.
So
Good to
anyway-
know where your head's at.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I really wanted to know
Gotta
where I was.
prioritize.
But I was thinking about it earlier, and inside the Captain America First Avenger, Howard Stark specifically says that he found vibranium at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
He said, I found this vibranium, and that's what I made the shield out of. It's all of it. That's all there is in the world. How do the Wakandans not know that there was vibranium in the ocean?
Probably because keep in mind that before T'Challa took over, Wakanda was sealed off from everyone else. They didn't interact with the rest of the world.
They
And the world
solely
didn't-
believed
But they knew what was
only
going on.
had
No, they
access to vibranium.
They knew what was going on. in the
No,
rest
they
of the
weren't a
world.
part of the UN.
But they still had the most high tech country in the world. You don't think they knew what was going on?
They were isolated. That's how they became high tech. Do we really have to watch over 200 hours of movies
I'm
again
just
to kind
trying-
of get this history right?
Listen, I'm just trying to point this out. Of nobody asked the
Okay,
question.
how about
of
we do the research and then we'll figure this out later?
I know, but I'm just saying nobody knew. Like nobody
for the
asked the
next
question.
podcast.
Nobody asked the
Exactly.
question of like, "Hey, his shield is made out of vibranium. Where'd you get it from?"
Yeah. Well, no,
Like-
probably like they got back the information. Like, what'd they do with it? They just made a shield. Oh, okay, that's fine.
That's why.
Like that's a primitive weapon,
yeah.
you know,
Did they
defensive
make
weapon.
missiles? Did they make guns? No, it's
Yeah.
a shield. Whatever. Leave it.
I-
They make a
Fine.
bomb out of it? No, they made a shield out of it.
I get that, but like that was like the one thing I was kind of like, how did they not know that there was like more vibranium? out
Yeah.
there?
So
kind of weird.
I think that there's two big points about this movie that I want to pretty much kind of talk about mainly. Okay. The first part is Namor, right? He was probably the biggest highlight of this movie. One, great actor, great interpretation of him. I think that he was that kind of problem that kept happening and kept moving the plot forward. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be moving the story forward at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Very, very,
Yes.
like, we needed him in the plot.
Yes.
Yeah.
The second reason as to why Namor is important is because the origin story that's presented about him here is not at all what's referenced in the comic books at all.
No, yeah, he's completely different, at least how he is in the comic books. But they did a great job, what I loved, with the actor they assigned, and made him more towards like, okay, it's like Aztec kind of vibe
Yes.
that they gave off. Yeah.
So help me out with it again. His people are called?
They're just like the people of Telocan. I don't know if they say like Telocanians because that's.
But it is an ancient city in
You could
not their mythology, but it's their history, right? Like this is kind of something that they believe that existed underwater.
Yeah,
It's an
because
underwater
you,
city,
you
right?
could technically say that it is Atlantis. Like it's their version of Atlantis.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's a rumored city of
Yeah.
superpower that's nobody's ever seen, but there's been rumors of.
Yeah.
So I mean it does still fit within, because I know that he was supposed to be also in charge of Atlantis.
Yes.
That was supposed to be his original backstory.
Yeah. What I really liked about this origin story is that it fits so well with the same thing of Wakanda, or the same themes of Wakanda, right? It talked about the culture, how it fits into the entire world, and basically why they kind of wanted to shut themselves out from the rest of the world. Then you have these people as well who are also shutting themselves out of the world, but for a different reason. It's because they were basically, not they were being persecuted, but they were kind of
colonizers.
Yeah, they were being colonized. So they said, okay, we're going to go to the ocean because we ate this mysterious herb that one of the gods told us to do, and we became sea people. And that was it.
It was essentially the sea heart-shaped fruit. That was, it was that was like their version of it.
And they didn't do Namor dirty because in the comic books, Namor is an asshole. Like, he's a jerk. He kind of plays like a villain, but a hero.
Yeah.
He's like an anti-hero kind of.
Yeah, in a way.
He's very arrogant, very little closed-minded, but still very hard in his beliefs.
Yeah. I forget who it was. We talked about it last year with DC Fandom, but it was it Chef Johns who said that a hero, a villain is just a misunderstood hero?
Yeah.
That's basically what Namor was. I'm trying to protect my people, but you all are just kind of wanting to kill us because of our materials, right?
Well, that's the thing, though, is that it shifted. Throughout the movie, his views do shift because Shuri does show that she is interested, and she's like, okay, we can both help each other.
Yeah.
At a certain point, but he does shift from misunderstood hero to villain. The moment where he was like, well, we could just wipe the surface world out. Like, let's just
burn the world.
Let's just burn the world, and then we'll just live in harmony together. And that's insanity. That's just that's a villain.
So
it's a doomsday.
That was one part. The second part that I think really carried the movie was the idea of T'Challa's death. It goes with the whole grieving portion of it. How do these people grieve? What does it mean to move on? What do you do with that? And we got to see that because we see it all the time with superheroes. Spider-Man becomes the hero he is because of Uncle Ben's death. Another thing, Batman, right? Even though he's not Marvel, Batman sees his parents die. He is the hero he is because of that event. And so you see this going on in Black Panther with people like Shuri, who basically becomes the Black Panther at the end, but for a different reason, right? She's fueled by anger. She's fueled by vengeance. Spoiler, I'm going to tell you right now, again, spoiler, when she takes the herb, she wants to see her brother, but she ends up seeing Killmonger.
Yeah.
And that becomes a good enough catalyst to see her kind of break down as a different Black Panther than what T'Challa was. From that, we get to the mid-credit scene, which is what it built itself up to. And the mid-credit scene, spoiler! I'm telling you again, spoiler! We see T'Challa's son.
The one thing I got right.
The one thing you got
The
right.
one thing I got right. I was like, I predict this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen.
The movie starts and it's just like, oh no, Nick's wrong
And
already.
I was like, dang it, I was wrong. And then I was like, and then it was so funny because we were in the movie theater and I went, man, I really still wanted his kid. Like, I really wanted T'Challa's kid.
Yeah, the first run of credits are going. It's like, yeah, we didn't get his kid.
Like, we didn't get his kid. I was like, dang, I guess I was wrong. Like, that would have been really cool because that would have made sense that she left to protect his kid.
He turns to me,
and I
right?
said that.
He says that, and I'm like, yeah, but you're forgetting that Queen...
The Queen...
Ramonda.
She was about to tell Shuri something and then gets interrupted by Namor. I'm like, just wait, because we didn't get that scene.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll probably be in the next movie or something. Like, no. Like, they have to address it here.
I remember that too.
Yeah, you got to be patient, right?
Yeah.
That was important information where it was like, they kind of like threw it in there. Where it was like, oh yeah, if you
didn't know everything about your brother.
I didn't even catch that at first watch. I mean, obviously I only watched it the first time. I'm watching it again tomorrow and on Sunday. But I had messaged my friend who was at the premiere. I was like, so what was the Queen trying to like say? And she was like, dude, it was about the son. And I was like, oh, that's right.
That's the moment she said that. I'm like, Nick's right, that there is a son. But then she got interrupted. So we get to that mid-credit scene, and T'Challa's wife, is it? Or was it like...
They were never official. They were never
official,
but
right?
Yeah.
So she presents Shuri
They were in love.
Yeah. She presents Shuri with her nephew, who has Haitian? Is that how you pronounce it?
He has a Haitian name. And then he has a Wakandan name,
which is T'Challa.
Yeah.
That was probably the most heartfelt moment for me, at least, because that was the recasting of T'Challa to continue the Black Panther with the T'Challa name, but also that memory, that legacy can still live on with someone else,
right?
Which is pretty cool. With all of that said,
which it does make sense that she would name him T'Challa while he was gone during the blimp.
Yes,
because she missed him, and then he finally comes back. He gets to meet his son, which also sucks too. Because if you take the timeline, he was only around for a year.
Yeah,
like he gets blimped back, and then immediately gets sick.
Yeah,
so that sucks.
So with all of this said, there are a couple kind of, I wouldn't say controversial points, but I think that is something that we need to discuss. Black Panther's coming out to some really great reviews. I think it's like an 80, high 80s, low 90s amongst critics. But most of the public is saying that this is the best Marvel movie post Endgame, right? Do we agree with that statement? Do you want to start it?
I would agree with it, but to a certain extent.
Okay.
Only in the sense of it's probably one of the greater movies that have actually made me feel something in that aspect. So it's probably the greatest one to make me feel so many different emotions since Endgame. There were good moments in like WandaVision, if you go back to the beginning of, and we were kind of talking about this before we jumped on the podcast. I think it was Renee that I was talking to. Phase 4, and everybody like joked about it. They're like, oh, Phase 4 is just everybody being sad and like having traumatic events, but it's true. And I really like that Marvel kind of has like transitioned to a more like gritty, realistic, like real world problems. Like this is how the superheroes are affected. And these are how the lives of people who aren't superheroes are also affected by what the superheroes did. And Phase 4 started with learning how to deal with grief, and it ended with learning how to deal with grief. And I think in that aspect, yes, Black Panther has been one of the best films since Endgame on an emotional level and aspect.
From a story perspective, what do you think?
From a story perspective, I'm not one to usually like pick apart a lot of movies. It's usually I'm just like, I like it or I don't. Or I'm like, it was okay.
Okay.
But I did still very much like it. What I liked about it mainly was that it didn't really include much of the outside world. Aside from like the Val and the Agent Ross thing, it was really just a story about Wakanda and Logan. And I liked that because it left the focus there, and it wasn't worried about like what other Avengers are doing or like what new team ups are going to happen. You know what I mean? Like it really just focused on that. And I think Ryan just did the best job that he could. All of them did with, you know, what they really had to deal with realistically, like mourning Chadwick while trying to put everything into their performances, which you can tell which performances are them and which performances are their characters because of like the gravity of each scene that it holds. I kind of lost track.
No,
but-
you're good.
No, you're
It's
fine.
funny
Don't
that
worry.
you mentioned
No.
that this movie was very central between Wakanda and Tolacan, because I think that all of us have basically looked at these other movies where we have questions afterwards, where it's kind of like, well, we have the giant, what is it called from Eternals?
Celestial.
The
Celestial,
celestial
yeah.
out of the earth, and no one seems to mention it. And I didn't even think about it, where we don't really think about anything else in the world because it doesn't really involve the rest of the world. The rest of the world is just looking at these guys for resources. Meanwhile, we're seeing the internal conflict between the two
Right.
and the aftermath behind it.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
I think that also kind of encompasses a lot of the like the individual characters, like how they're struggling.
Yeah.
It's a struggle between one thing and another for pretty much every character. And for this movie, it was a struggle between Wakanda and Talocan.
Yeah.
So it really just mirrored characters and like the overall like storytelling aspect of what was going on. And another thing that I had mentioned to Renee like earlier in the day, Shuri's suit design.
Oh yeah.
So if you take a look at Killmonger's suit, his suit's black and gold.
Yes.
If you take a look at T'Challa's suit, it's silver and black,
Yeah.
right? But if you look at Shuri's, it's both black, silver, and gold, with more hints of gold than silver.
Yeah.
Because I was also talking to another friend, and basically, my theory, like I don't know if it is, but I think the more gold kind of symbolized, and using my friend's word, the ferocity that she had because of how angry she was at her brother's death, and you know, the weight and the guilt she felt not being able to heal him. Because if you look at her from the first movie, she's confident, she's brilliant, she could do anything. But if she can do anything, why couldn't she save her brother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, hopefully, I mean, that'd be cool if I was right. If I'm not, that's fine. But headcanon,
Yeah.
Her physical suit to me represented her internal struggle. There were hints of how she wanted to be a good leader to follow in T'Challa's footsteps, but a lot of like the rage and anger that Killmonger had was represented in a lot of the gold that was on her suit. Again, which is why she saw him instead of her brother or her mom while she took the heart-shaped herb.
Yeah.
Well, it is interesting to see at the end of the movie her actually give up the throne. She does not want to be queen. She doesn't want to be. She's okay with just being the Black Panther. That's it. That's I'm not the king. I'm not the queen. I don't want any authority making decisions in Wakanda. I'm not ready for that.
It's interesting because I think we kind of land, all of us, in that same aspect where this movie was a very emotional movie to watch, and that's what makes it good. It is that tribute to Chadwick Boseman. It is a tribute to people who have lost people close to them, and we see these characters on screen kind of go through that journey of how to mourn, right? Because we see our superheroes, they mourn, but we don't see that process. This is a 2.5 hour long movie of a process going through, right? I'm going to say this because I think I might be the only one to kind of look at the story and say, I think that the movie from an emotional aspect was the best one. The movie from a story perspective is kind of mid. It's not as good as people are saying. Like, I've seen reviews where it's a 70 out of like a 7 out of 10 essentially. And I can see why, because there was so much going on that at some point you're just kind of like, how does this piece connect to this piece? You wait another 30 minutes and then all of a sudden you see that connection. Or sometimes things get really left behind. Like for me, the biggest problem was the end, right? Where I felt like Shuri could have been a really good but broken Black Panther, but they just fixed her up super quickly. If she could have held on to that kind of like torture in her heart and said like, you know what, I still want to see that world burn. I still want to get revenge for my brother's death. That would have been interesting to carry on in the next couple of movies to then be a good enough reason to pass the Black Panther torch on to the younger T'Challa. That's how we can get rid of her. And you can make her that good character, a strong woman presence in the MCU by making her be redeemable on her own, through her own journey, essentially. Right? So the movie story is where I have a problem. But the movie's message, I think, is perfect. I think it's great. Yeah. The only other issue, I think, is too much dialogue. There was a lot. There was a lot.
It's a lengthy movie.
It's a lengthy movie because there were moments where I'm just kind of like, okay, can we speed it up so we can get to, the actual like visual aspects of the movie? But I understand why. There was a lot of setup. There was a lot because you're introducing Namor, you're introducing the new world that where he basically rules. What is the aftermath of T'Challa opening up Wakanda to everyone else and then basically dying? That was it, right? So you're dealing with a lot of it, and I feel like you can't really show it. You kind of have to talk it out, right? So that's my only issue with it. But other than that, I have to really split it up. I can't really like say it's really great, but I also can't say that it wasn't as good as it could have been. Yeah. Renee and Nick, what do you guys think about the movie?
Go ahead, Nick.
For me, I thoroughly liked it. I enjoyed some parts of it, and then there were some that I was kind of like, it could have been better. For me, what I enjoyed was, I think I enjoyed Shuri's journey that we get, because that was the one thing I was really worried about. I thought it was just they were going to throw it at her and be like, okay, I'll take it, and that's it. We weren't going to have like this struggle for her character. But I liked that, what we got in the movie. Another thing I liked, I did like the mentions of events that happened in the first one. So with the general and then the queen saying like, I forgive you, or I let it go when you took Killmonger's side.
Oh yeah.
When it came, and I love that so much because I was like, oh, she still has resentment over that.
Yeah.
And it's
that was a powerful scene.
Yeah,
that whole throne room scene.
She was the best, I think, actress amongst all of them.
Oh, Angela.
Oh.
Yeah, Angela.
Yeah,
Bassett.
especially
Bassett,
that scene where she strips the general of her title.
That's what I'm saying. That scene was. Whew.
Yeah, you felt that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in there. I was like, dang.
Which I think would be so interesting if in the next one you don't see what's her name, Okoye in Wakanda, but actually she's in Haiti because she's actually protecting the real successor of the real successor to Wakanda.
Yeah.
And
that's smart. Yeah, that'd be good.
Cool.
And then it's kind of like all three of them, because now you can have the three of them. We're going to be protecting T'Challa until he's of age to take the throne.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're going to train him, and we're going to show him what it means to be a king of Wakanda, and that would be really interesting if that's where that kind of runs into.
Yeah.
One of the things that I kind of not like, but I shouldn't say not like, because I forgive the movie for doing this, where they didn't really hint at what's happening in the future of the Marvel universe. But the thing was, and I forgive it because they had to focus mostly on like, we gotta keep going with
Chadwick.
Without Chadwick,
Yeah.
so we have to focus on that. That's the main thing. So I was like, okay, I can't get mad at that.
It would have been a way more overbloated movie if
That's
you
the
would have
thing.
done it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
and I
would have
think the
been
message
very
would have been
convoluted.
lost.
Yeah.
Because that entire tone of this movie, that was the thing that got me. I think that's where most of the emotion hit me. It wasn't the story. It was those moments of silence where T'Challa dies. You get the Marvel Studios intro.
Our theater was so quiet.
Oh yeah, it was
Dead.
You hear a pin drop in our theater.
Yeah, like there was just no conversations, no nothing.
There wasn't
And
even
then-
a cough, or no one was like sneezing. Everyone was just
I heard a
dead.
couple sniffles though.
Yeah. And then the other part was when Shuri is about to kill Namor and she's revisiting all of Chadwick's memories, or not Chadwick, but T'Challa's memories.
Yeah.
And you see all the great moments, and it's, again, the silence. That is great directing. That is how you manage to get emotion in a movie with no sound. And I love that.
So
it got that message across.
The reason, so that's why I was really thinking you're gonna love Creed, because Ryan Coogler does the same thing.
Oh, he does in Creed. Yeah.
Wait,
Creed
Ryan
1 and 2.
Coogler?
Ryan Coogler did Creed. That's how
Yeah.
he got. That's
He
how he
did
got
the first
Black
one?
Panther. Yes.
The first two, didn't he?
No,
Oh, he wrote both of them.
He wrote both of them. He directed one,
first one, yeah.
and I think another director did two
That's
because
right.
he was doing Black
He was
Panther.
doing Black Panther. That's right. But yeah, he did both of those movies. Yeah. And he wrote the third one, and Michael B. Jordan's directing the third one.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to watch Creed now.
Yeah, that's why when you
Now
were like,
That's all it
motivated.
took.
yeah, like I was like, how did you not like? That's how Ryan Coogler got Black Panther.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Marvel was
okay.
like, "Did you see Creed? Yeah, we're getting that guy." Like,
that guy for
yeah.
You're getting
like-
the guy that knows how to sell emotion.
Yeah.
Yes, dude, it's so good. Yeah, because he has those same moments in Creed.
Oh,
that
definitely.
that are just so powerful and it hurts. Like,
Yeah.
it really does hurt. Even in Creed 2, like that, they have a lot of those
super
moments.
emotional, even with the villain as well too.
Yeah.
He makes those good emotional moments.
Yeah, where you start enjoying the villain, you really have a heart for them and everything else. Was there anything else, Renee?
No, other than I think overall, I give it an 8. It's not a near perfect movie, but it's a pretty good Marvel movie for Phase 4.
Yeah.
I like it in the Phase 4
I'm
stuff.
kind of scared to always give those rankings because everyone I've seen is like, this is a straight 10 out of 10 movie. And I'm like, what if I say if it's a 7? Am I going to be like insensitive or
No,
like
but,
people think I'm
I
going to
mean,
be a
like,
jerk?
I do believe it's an 8 because it's a B.
Yeah.
It's not an A. It's definitely not a C, because a C, I feel like you could have made
I'm
it.
giving it a high C.
You gave it a
I'm
high
giving
C.
it a high C. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
really?
Story-wise,
Story-wise, it's a
Passable?
high C.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
if you say it that way, like story-wise, it's a high C, but emotionally, you gave it an A.
Well,
Yeah,
because-
emotionally is an A.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, though, is that this movie is very bloated. It's very bloated. If you were to shave, if you could shave half an hour of this movie, the movie would flow a lot.
It's so interesting because after we've seen No Way Home, because we went to go see the extended cut of it,
Oh, okay.
The
we
extra
got
11
out of
Was
it.
it awesome or like?
So we came out of that movie going like, yeah, it still holds up, but we understand why all the things that they added were cut off because
More
it's just,
Toby stuff?
it's more banter back and forth.
It's a lot more like banter, or it's a scene where they added in like, oh yeah, we're gonna show more of the Tigers, like you know that like that the news over at the high school.
Oh,
They
yeah.
showed
Oh,
they showed
gotcha.
more of that.
Yeah.
There was a couple of more of interactions with people, but it wasn't anything major.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There was a lot of stuff where we shaved it down for time and to get things moving.
Yeah.
Because when they had a couple of those scenes, you were like, okay,
Yeah.
this scene's got to really like.
There
It's got
was-
like. I hope this scene needs to like
Keep
when
it
it was
going.
cut,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
it was good.
They did
There
add the
was-
scene with
yeah.
Tom Holland's brother.
Oh, they did?
They added that.
The one
That
where
was-
he's like the robber or whatever, he like
Yeah.
hangs him upside down.
Yeah, where he
Was
hangs
it
him
cool?
up. Yeah, it's,
Oh, yeah.
it's,
It's
funny because he hangs him upside down, and then like they have this giant argument of like, you're not supposed to be doing this. You're a kid. Oh well, how do you guys are working together? And then Tom Holland's brother's like, yeah, we're Spider-Man told me to steal that woman's purse. And it's like it's a whole thing, and then they're arguing about it. And
I
that's
think
when
what
it
makes
gets
it funnier
flashed.
is that he actually had to hang upside down for hours.
Yeah.
Because, if you know that story, it's like, oh, that makes it that much more interesting.
And then
Yeah.
there's like an extra like minute and a half of like all three of them just bantering, talking about Toby's webs.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, they
I'll look
extended
it up on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's all like deleted scenes in the DVD or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's all
okay.
good.
for
Um,
Yeah, Toby's my favorite Spidey.
Toby?
Yeah,
Yeah.
rightfully so. Sam Raimi.
Look, man, I still defended Andrew Garfield, and all of a sudden everyone's an Andrew Garfield fan.
I've
It's
never,
funny.
I never once like put a bad thing to his name.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great Spider-Man.
He's a great.
He is.
No,
let me-
Jesus,
He
sorry,
got
I was a little passionate.
so excited.
He's a great
Sir.
Spider-Man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
dude.
a great.
Just 'cause he's a great Spider-Man.
My
That
argument
doesn't
has
make his
always
movies
been
good.
Toby's a great Peter, Andrew's a great Spider-Man, Tom Holland's a great Peter and Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, but see, that's why, like, you know, that running, not theory, but the reasoning why he came out already in his spider suit and Toby came out as Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because people always saw Tobey Maguire's as the best Peter, and they always saw Andrew Garfield's as the best Spider-Man,
You
which
just
is
blew
why.
my mind because I
Oh, you didn't know that?
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
That's why they came out of the portals.
Yeah.
Toby dresses Peter, or Toby being just Peter,
Yeah.
and Andrew being Spider-Man already.
Look, I just still have resentment for people like supporting Andrew Garfield now, and I'm like, guys, I was there when you know he was,
I've been
I, was
there
in,
day
I
one.
was in the trenches, all right. I was defending him.
Yeah.
Listen,
Y'all were haters.
Listen, just because he's a good Spider-Man doesn't make his movies good. All right, his movies are pretty
The first one was good.
I didn't like his first suit too much. The second
the
suit I
first
liked
suit.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I also had gripes with Toby. What is
Toby.
wrong with me today? You know what? Listen, I haven't
Tony Stark made it when scraps in a cave.
I have not eaten since like when I had lunch after work or during work. It's probably why I'm all like ruffling over
It's
my
okay.
words.
We're gonna wrap this
No,
up.
no
soon, so,
teriyaki bowl,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Oh, I know. But yeah, nostalgia reasons is why obviously I love Toby's Spidey.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
told Sam too. I was like, like those movies were the movies that got me into superheroes.
Right.
And he like stood back. He was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, I swear to God, like Toby is my favorite Spider-Man. I loved all those movies." And he was like, "Wow, that really means a lot. Thank you." He's like, "Now look at you, you're here." And I was like, "I know."
Damn, you got to meet Sam Raimi. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
It was wild, dude. I'm telling you. Sometimes like I'll think about like it in general. Ooh, see now I'm
Now
getting all
you're
serious.
getting excited. See?
I'll think
There's
about it
passion
in
here,
general
right?
and like driving
Stop.
over too. I was like got overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my God, like this is my life. Like I know people who like tolerate me enough to be like, hey, come with me to this premiere. And I'm just like, are you sure? You could take anybody else you want to. They're like, we're taking you. And I'm like, okay.
I'm not arguing, but okay. Let's wrap this up
Yeah.
by talking about just kind of like a quick little thing.
So I don't get to talk.
About what?
About what he thought about the
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, yeah, go
We're
ahead.
just gonna skip over. You're just like,
I don't know.
all right,
You-
let's
listen, you
wrap
talk too
this
much.
He was
up.
like, I know that one's the wrong opinion. That's why.
You talk too much. I thought you already said it.
No, sorry. Yeah, I do talk too much. That's what
I do,
that's,
too.
That's what I'm here for.
We're gonna have to.
But
clock
you're
the
the
minutes.
guest. You're good.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
fine. Nick,
Yeah,
he's
I'm a
here every.
host.
Actually, he's missed like 3 episodes or
I have
3
missed
issues.
3 episodes.
Yeah, 3 issues.
No, but honestly,
welcome
I
back.
So I was in the hospital. No,
Bring you
no.
flowers next time.
Yeah, I know. No, I honestly, I do have to agree with majority of what you guys said. The only thing is, I feel that the movie it's overly bloated. I didn't really like what they did with Riri Williams. I thought she was just kind of overall, because I felt like she was a character that they were like, okay, how do we start the issues with Wakanda and Namor?
We need an inciting
We
incident.
need an inciting incident. Okay, let's make let's make something that can detect vibranium. Who can we get to make the vibranium? Who can we get? And then they were like, Riri Williams. And then that was it. Like, that was as much thought as they put into it. And then
Yeah.
they went, oh yeah, she becomes Ironheart later.
Oh yeah, how does she have any relation to Tony Stark? She's using Stark Tech.
Yeah, she's using Stark Tech and MIT. And I thought that was kind of interesting, but inside of the comics, Riri Williams has this like Tony Stark has always been an inspiration to her, and like the things that he's been doing, and you know she was going with like a foundation that Tony Stark literally plucked her out of, and he was a mentor to her. This one I felt like just kind of went like, she's just smart. She's just smart, and that's it. That's all we have to say about it. No, we don't need to worry about how she got schematics from Stark Tech. We don't have to say anything else. We just keep moving. Just keep moving.
I can see the reasoning in that.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of this movie was like that. Like they kind of said, like, we have this thing here. Here's the reason why, and moving forward. Like with Namor. Namor is like, here's my story. Here's why I'm a dick, and I'm a mutant. And
I'm a
peace out.
mutant piece.
Yeah.
Because I'm a mutant, and everybody just went, "Oh, he's a mutant!"
Yeah.
And-
He said it. He said it.
The word.
Yeah.
but that's the thing, though.
There
is
was
that,
no X-Men theme playing though, so it's not legit.
I know if they start playing that every single time somebody says I'm a mutant, and then you hear do.
And then we never get an X-Men movie.
Yeah, no, we never
That's
saw X-Men
your
movie.
villain origin story.
That is
Kevin Feige.
Like every time someone says mute, you see like a little picture of Kevin Feige in the corner.
I just thought that was I do think that Riri Williams could have done more with her. They could have her just kind of knowing how to do things is interesting, but I would have liked to have had more backstory. But it's really hard to. I'm going to introduce Ironheart in this movie that is already very full. Where do I have that time to then sit down and go, why an Iron Man suit? Like, I would have just appreciated when they were building, why an Iron Man suit? Like, why are you making an Iron Man suit? And then her just say, oh, well, Tony Stark always kind of inspired me, and you know, he was just a normal person that made himself super.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that reasoning. That's why I like hearing everybody's opinions on like what they thought about the movie, and then I'm always like, not necessarily the devil's advocate, but like I can see the logic in that. But then I think about like, well, we know that she's having her own series, so it still could be explained there. Yeah. And I figure if it wasn't explained in the movie, which in normal circumstances it would have been, right? But you don't want to bring up other Avengers when you're just focusing on this one story. Yeah,
and that's where that danger comes in, because Riri is I feel like she could be an instrumental part to kind of develop the next Avengers, especially with the Thunderbolts being so close, like now in development.
Also, as they keep dropping these young Avengers, you know, you have Stature so far, you have Kate Bishop, you have all these other young Avengers that just keep popping up. Yeah, where eventually we're going to do something with these.
That's why you need to develop them a lot better now. And Riri was just kind of like, she's there.
She's there, and not only that, but also immediately kind of gets this like uber cool, like, you know, Wakandan like tech. Yeah, you're just like, and then she has to give it up at the end, so that way she has to build a new one inside of Ironheart or in Secret Wars, because apparently she's showing up in Armor Wars.
Yeah, and then she's gonna have her own series too.
Yeah, and I'm assuming Rhodey.
I can't wait for that one. I love Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle's awesome. Yeah. I can't wait for that because
I can't explain it. I love the dude. He's great.
He's a great actor. Yeah.
He's a
you know what?
Actor.
Props to the young actors and actresses so far in the MCU, because they've all killed it. Yeah, so far. Like Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
she's phenomenal.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. She did an awesome job. I'm excited to see more of her. Yeah. I just wanted her character developed more.
I'm hoping that she can take that. Like, she can grab that inspiration and take it into Ironheart, because I don't know her name for Riri Williams, but
Dominique.
Yeah. She was sassy. She was clever. She was quick, like on everything. Yeah, dude. That's exactly what I wanted. And I'm like,
such a fangirl. I love it.
She's like, you coming up on me with that ashiness?
It was good.
That was great.
Dude, that hurt Okoye. She was like,
you brought a spear into the room? She brought a spear into the room?
What are you going to do? Throw a heater at me? Like, again, that's why I'm saying I enjoyed her character. I wanted to know more. I wanted to know what was going on. And not only that, but also that's the really cool thing that you used to get to see with Tony Stark and Banner, the quippiness and them talking out a problem. Yeah. And you didn't really get to see that. You got a real quick thing of like, oh yeah, we just need to dry him out. Like, if we can dry him out, we'll win. But there wasn't that like banter of how exactly do we fix your Iron Man suit or anything else. It's so I just kind of wanted that more of like that sciencey stuff. Yeah, I mean, overall the movie was good. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. It's really hard for me to go like, this movie's bad. Like, don't go watch it. Like, it's a good movie. It's just, it's long and it's very chatty.
So we got to wrap up this issue because we're going over now at this point. But you're good. You're good. This just means that you were a great guest. We loved you having here, so it's all good.
You know, we still have one more topic.
Thank you.
We still do. It'll be short. It'll be short. But before we wrap this up, any part of the movie that you really loved? Do you want to start?
Honestly, and it's gonna sound really weird, but I loved the parts where Shuri expressed how angry she was.
Okay.
Because I have a really soft spot for movies that go really into the nitty-gritty about grief and how you feel. And it's not just like, oh, I'm sad, because I'm pretty sure all of us have experienced grief at one point or another. And it's not just like like, you know, they say, oh, there's the 5 stages of grief or whatever it is. It's not like that. It's not linear. Like, you can go from stage 1 to stage 4 to 5 to 3 to 2 back to 1. Like, it's all over the place. And I know that, like, when I experienced grief a couple years back, like, I was just always angry.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciated that they showed how much rage and anger she had, like, built up inside of her. And how she was just trying to figure out if she wanted to be like T'Challa or if she was kind of taking the reins of like what Killmonger was going for, like justice and revenge and trying to make things right. And also kind of like blaming herself. And I've felt all of that before, and I've gone through it, and I really appreciated that in the movie. So it wasn't necessarily like my favorite thing, but it was something that really got me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Renee?
I definitely enjoyed the sequence of like Shuri accepting the role as Black Panther and then showing herself to the council. Yeah. That was a very good scene. I like that a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
Nick?
yeah, and they put all their hands on her.
Yeah.
That was great.
Anything with Queen Ramonda.
Oh, yeah.
She killed it. Like that, just every single scene with her, you can tell that's a seasoned actor. Because
absolutely.
Every scene she was in, she stole.
Yeah.
Like it did not matter. She felt like a queen.
Yeah.
In this movie,
She is.
like no, because when she would talk, you can feel her presence and you can feel how
You
serious
respected
she was.
her
Not
every
only-
time she spoke.
Yeah.
It was interesting because like there was an attractiveness in how she like presented herself, but also in like the way she spoke.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, oh, this is a powerful woman.
You should watch her show 911.
Oh yeah, that's right. She is in
Yeah.
911.
I love that
she is.
show.
Such a good
It's a good show.
Okay.
Such a good show.
But
Cool.
but yeah, I really did enjoy that, and also I really enjoyed just seeing, at the end when she does pass, you can kind of see where her values lied, because she says, I'm all about like protecting my kids and doing all these other things, but when push came to shove, she, instead of saving herself, decided to save a young girl.
Yeah.
And sacrificed herself for the future. And I thought that was really interesting. I thought that I just all around, she was a great character and a great person to really take up the role from Chadwick of being that central leader of the movie.
Like the anchor.
Yeah, that real strong anchor, while you have Shuri kind of not unsure of where exactly they should be, and Okoye being overly confident and everything else. She was very much that anchor of the movie.
Yeah.
And she did it well.
For me, it has to be Namor. I feel like from a writing perspective, it's fairly easy to make someone who is understandably angry and wants to protect his people the big villain of the movie. And I feel like Ryan Coogler did do a good job in making him be the anti-hero, but also like within a good reason. And not only that, but that origin story, I feel like people don't like it. I love it. I love that representation of Mayan culture.
Yeah,
Like it makes
it's a great origin story.
It's a great origin story. You're bringing in a culture that's not necessarily represented in media a lot, and especially being Central American or have parents with Central American like origin. It's a lot. It's in there. It's in our blood, So it's kind of like, okay, it's cool to have that representation out there and want people to learn more about it as well.
It's an interesting idea of taking Namor, who is primarily European.
Yeah.
I would say he would
is,
be more European with Atlantis and everything else, because they usually say it's within Greece and
Right.
everything else, and then to just put it on its head and go, no, it's actually Aztec. Like, it's Aztec, and they built all these other things. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had a lot of Marvel season fans, the older generation of Marvel fans that follow, like the golden age of Marvel, which that's where they started from. And they always ask me, they go, how's Namor in the movie? I go, listen, they change up his origin, but they stay true to his characteristics in the comic book.
Which is
like
important.
his archetype.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
I think really quick, and I don't think we had mentioned it before. I know we got to wrap it up.
No, you're good.
These movies have done a really good job of not showcasing villains, but more the anti-heroes, because they're seeking justice, rightfully so.
Yeah.
They've deserved justice for their people. They just went about it the wrong way.
Yes.
I feel like that was the trend in Phase 4. That was very much the trend in most of the movies, because even
Oh, that's true. Wanda went about it the wrong way.
Wanda went about it the wrong way. Gore went about it the wrong way.
he did,
Spider-Man was his own villain because he wanted, he took advantage of the mystic arts.
It's the Aftermath saga.
Yeah, it's very
honestly.
It's very much a lot of these people are seeking justice, or they're seeking what they want, but they're going about it in the wrong way that harms other people, and they're blind to it. because they're more concerned about what they want and less concerned about what's going on around them and how their actions affect other people. So that was an interesting kind of through line throughout all of Phase 4.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that's probably why people say they were disappointed with Gore and they were like, they could have did so much more of him. But I think also Phase 4 hit a lot of being able to relate to the characters.
Yeah.
Whether they had powers or not, or were gods or not, like they made human decisions.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though, is that I feel because people were saying that, like, for Gore, they wanted him to murder more people. They wanted him to, like, really be that god butcher. But I feel like if he went on a huge, like, killing spree and really showed how much he enjoyed killing gods, it's really hard to care and to go, oh, yeah, like, he's just misunderstood. No, he's just a psychopath at this point.
Right.
He finds joy in the murdering of gods.
Yeah.
Stuff. So, yeah, I that's the reason why I kind of enjoyed that through line of through Phase 4, but I do see the complaints.
All right, so before we wrap up this issue, one more bit of news that we found out about earlier today.
Can I do it?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
So today we found out that the one and only Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, passed away at 66. He was tremendous as being the Dark Knight. Was the voice of the Batman for a lot of people, me myself included. I know Renee. Whenever I read a Batman comic, I hear Kevin Conroy's voice. Whenever I want to hear, Batman, I always think of Kevin Conroy because Kevin Conroy is the 90s Batman, very much so. To hear that he passed away and that he had been battling cancer for the past couple of years is amazing to hear, especially since he was still acting. He was still doing voice acting. He was still doing everything else. He had a huge bucket of work especially with Batman. He took the gig of Batman in the 90s, not thinking he was actually going to get it, to then becoming an icon and to being the official voice of the Batman. He studied in Juilliard with people like Christopher Reeves and Robin Williams, which is impressive.
Yeah,
he was best friends with both of them. And he will be missed along with them. It's a very sad, and I don't even know what to say about that. Honestly, I read it today because it happened last night, or it happened yesterday, and I don't know, it crushed me.
No, I didn't believe it.
No, yeah, I didn't want to believe it.
I didn't believe it.
It was really weird just to kind of like realize that, someone that's been around in your childhood for a while now.
I'm gonna be honest, I still don't believe it. No, I don't. I don't, because it's just, it sucks. It sucks because like I'm on that same boat. Like you can't read a Batman comic without hearing that voice. Yeah. And I've always stood with this. There is no perfect Batman Bruce Wayne combo because Kevin Conroy took that mantle. He was that voice. Like he could be a Bruce Wayne and he can be a Batman.
Have you ever listened to Kevin Conroy's voice as Batman?
I watched the series as a kid.
So the greatest thing I loved about Kevin Conroy, and he said it was such an easy thing to do, was when he was Bruce Wayne, he would give himself a higher pitch. He would he wouldn't necessarily do anything different. He would really just kind of make his voice higher. And then when he made Batman, he goes, I would just tone it down. That was it. I would just go a little gruffer, a little more serious, a little more this. And it was so simple that when you started watching the actual movies and you see just actors who just aren't doing the same, George Clooney, Kilmer, all these other people where
Christian Bale or anyone.
Christian Bale, anybody where where you can tell that they're using the same voice all the way through. And Conroy just did such a simplistic thing between the two, where even me, I thinking if I was inside of the Batman universe, inside of Kevin Conroy's universe, I don't think I would ever figure that out. That Batman is Bruce Wayne, because they don't sound the same. They have different cadences, different rhythms to it, and that's something that only somebody as talented as Kevin Conroy was really able to pull off.
There is probably one successor that I think can probably kind of, and I hope he continues, is Bruce Greenwood.
Bruce Greenwood, yeah.
He's been doing a really good job.
He's been doing a really great job. But yeah, there's no other voice like Kevin Conroy. I don't think I could. I was thinking about watching the animated series today just to kind of like reminisce, and I don't think I can do it. It's just like, I don't know. It's not. I don't believe it.
Yeah, he was really young. I was telling Renee that I got a chance to meet him.
Yeah.
At LA Comic-Con a couple of years ago. It was because I was asking for an interview, and I was trying to get it, and his publicist wasn't there. So I walked up to the table. He had a huge line of people, and I was like, I'm just gonna walk up to the table and see if I can get him, and just see if I can, like, you know, he's already trying to sign things. Maybe he'll just agree to it, and then when his publicists come back, he'll be like, oh, I agreed to do an interview and everything like that. And unfortunately, he was like, I can't. I would love to do an interview, but honestly, I'm booked today, and today's my only day I'm going to be here, and everything else, and I can't do the interview. But he shook my hand, and I even told him, I go, I'm a huge fan. You know, you very much have, you know, you're the reason why I'm into Batman. You're the reason, everything like that. I was able to tell him that, and he was like, I'm really, you know, I hear that a lot, and I'm so happy that I could be that for you. And then he shook my hand, and then, you know, I walked away. And I always thought I will get the chance to interview him one of these days, you know, because yeah, that's tough, man. Yeah, because I always thought I would have that opportunity, and you know, I'm lucky that I got that small interaction with him, but it's tough.
No, I think another interesting fact that about Kevin Conroy is that he recently did a short story in a DC Pride issue about him being a gay man in Hollywood and stuff like that. How he struggled keeping that secret to himself and stuff like that for so many years. And then he basically came out in that issue. Yeah. Like announcing that he was gay. I was like, that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. Batman's gay. and he was proud of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was also talking to Renee because I thought it was so interesting because he signed on for the Cape Crusader.
Yeah.
And he had started work on the Cape Crusader, and then it got canceled when Warner Brothers started doing all their cancellations. So what we were saying, mergers. Well, the thing that we were saying is we were like, that would be so cool if James Gunn was like, well, he passed away, let's release it. Let's just release it on, you know, we only finished like 2 or 3 episodes of it, but at least we could
like an audio podcast or
like
something.
A nice, like, audio
this is the last time
or,
he's Batman.
Like this is officially the last time he's Batman. It'd be like a nice little farewell to Kevin Conroy if we, like, you know, released whatever we had and you know, just did.
He actually tweeted about it and replied to someone who aggressively went after him because he thought that it was some Twitter being Twitter. Someone replied to him that there's more important issues like restoring the Snyderverse or releasing the Ayer cut, and James Gunn's like, look, man, I think you're not reading the room right. We're all mourning here for someone that, you know, was great and a good influence in the industry.
Obviously, you weren't a DC fan.
Yeah.
Right?
So.
Because if you don't understand how impacted,
the magnitude of the loss.
The magnitude of the loss of Kevin Conroy to DC fans. I don't know a DC fan out there that doesn't go like, yeah, Kevin Conroy, like who's your Batman? Kevin Conroy. It's like it's like asking who the Joker is. Like
Mark
who's
Hamill.
your Mark Hamill. That's simple.
Someone says Jared Leto.
Somebody says Jared Leto. If somebody says Jared Leto, they
get out.
They need to get stabbed. They need to get stabbed. Yeah. No, but I think it's so interesting, and you know, to hear, to know that you'll never be able to hear. That Kevin Conroy
he's not
Batman again.
It's over.
To wrap up this issue,
it makes me want to play Batman art.
Same.
It makes me want to.
I want to play it. I just can't do it right now. To wrap it up, I think the last message that we can all agree with is that it's people like Kevin Conroy that make us who we are, because it's voices like him and it's people like him in the industry that, you know, can be great. Great representations of the characters that we all love.
Right.
And if it wasn't for Kevin Conroy, I don't think that we would have the Batman that we have now. We wouldn't have, you know, people reading the comic books and giving a voice to Batman. He was and is probably the truest voice of Batman and Bruce Wayne, and he will be missed a lot.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we're very thankful that we had him, that we got to live in a lifetime with, you know, the great voice of Batman. And he'll be missed.
Yeah,
it sucks.
So far, 2 Batmen have passed.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We have Adam West and Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
So
With that said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this issue.
you know,
Sorry to end it.
I
so
know.
sad, guys.
What a bummer way to end
Yeah.
this. You know what? The funny thing is, while we were talking about this, we couldn't decide to do this in the beginning.
Well, because we
wanted
wanted
to
to
do
do
it
Beginning
it
or
in
the
the
end.
end.
You didn't want to set the tone.
We didn't want to set
Exactly.
a very morbid tone, and we were like,
Maybe we shouldn't have ended it like
Now
this.
we're like, no, we should end it with something else.
yeah, we should end it with something else.
No, you know, look. Here's how we'll do it. We'll do the plugs, and then you can plug in all your stuff
Yeah.
as well. Thank you guys for listening to Keeping Up with the Nerds issue 123. Don't forget to find us at keepingupwiththenerd.com. Follow us on all our socials: Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And find us on YouTube as well. Go subscribe, like the show, comment down below. And if you guys are on a drive, working out, just want to listen to us, and pretty much just catch up on the 122 plus issues that we have so far. Find us on any audio platform. Brittany, tell us where people can find you, and anyone else that you want to shout out, or anything else that you want to plug in.
You guys can find me at Captain_Brit on Instagram, and that's literally the only social I have, so it's easy.
There you go. And then down in the description below, we'll put your socials in there, and anyone else that you shouted out in the show.
Cool.
So
Rad.
all good. Thank you guys. Renee, are we ready to wrap this issue?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right. This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 123. My name is Renee.
This is Brian.
And Britt.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you all next time.